We're live.
All right. We're going. Episode 7.
7?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think. Or is this 6?
Might be 6.
Okay, never mind. Episode 6. Special guests,
Don't get ahead of yourself, Jim.
Tony Condon. How are you?
Great. Glad to be
Pull
here.
that microphone a little bit closer to you. Thank you.
I'm great, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay. Ben Shonkwiler.
Yes, howdy. Howdy.
How are ya?
Cheers.
It's like trying to catch a unicorn.
Yeah. Howdy.
How are ya?
Cheers.
It's like trying to catch a unicorn.
Yeah. Hold on tight. I'm a slippery
About
one.
once a year. About once a year, it gets my bedtime in.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then we got Andy Spurgeon with us, too.
I'm here again.
Yep. You were the only guy that had to work today.
I did.
Ugh.
Retail.
That's terrible.
Ugh.
Retail work, man. We had the big sale down at the drugstore.
Bummer.
Anything you could fit in. There were some creative packing techniques going on in the.
Oh, yeah.
They're playing Tetris and Jenga and all that in the aisles, trying to make sure their Christmas stuff fit. And
Yeah, get that 25%, man.
I wish I would have known about that. I would have came over.
could have came.
Yeah, get that 25%, man.
I wish I would have known about that. I would have came over.
Could have came down.
Dang.
Load up on Tylenol.
Preparation age, you know,
The good stuff.
the good stuff.
You still sell gift cards? We could have fit a ton of gift cards or of greeting cards, Hallmark
Oh
cards.
yeah. Oh yeah. Hallmark cards
you
would have fit.
Fit like all of them in the store in a brown paper bag.
And
Sell
just set up
them
a
as-
shop down,
Yeah.
down the street.
All right. Before we move on to new business, we got some old business to take care of. Viewer comment. A fellow named Chris Noss wanted to, it's a two-parter. Number 1, what are your guys' thoughts on Skateland Pickle Pops?
Classic.
Disgusting.
Fantastic, man. The most brilliant idea ever. And what, they were a nickel or were they a quarter?
Well, you got 2 for a quarter.
Okay.
Nickel? Even in 90s money, that's super cheap.
Well, I mean, it's just frozen pickle juice, man.
They had to sell it so cheap because his taste is so bad, I guess.
Yeah, but
It's
those
like
only
pickles.
way to-
Like,
it was like a salt lick for children. You just set it up.
I don't think I ever had one.
oh, really?
No,
Oh,
seriously, I don't think I ever did.
We should go.
Yeah.
Are they still open?
They are.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah, let's go
informed.
tonight.
I asked Chris Inman. I ran into him the other day, and yep, he's got it all running Saturdays and Sundays still.
Oh,
I don't know
nice.
if they do this 2-session Friday. That's where all the cool kids went.
So we'll have to wait then.
Right.
We should give them a call, see if they're open tonight.
There you go.
Thanksgiving
Yeah.
crowd, you know.
Try to OD on pickle pops.
And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah.
Turtles in Time.
Let's bring some quarters.
Lots of
Okay. Well, that's a nice segue because the second part to Chris Noss's question was, what was Skateland's best arcade game?
Yeah, no,
Turtles
nailed
in
it.
Time.
Turtles in Time.
No,
That's-
yeah.
That's the only one I even remember.
When they replaced it with The Simpsons, I think, which I wasn't as into at all because it wasn't Turtles, but
yeah, no.
It's definitely a step backwards.
it was a step backwards. They had
Yeah.
one of the Pac-Mans. I don't remember if it was Mr. or Mrs.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And then some pinball.
Oh yeah.
But that place was goofy,
Yeah.
and there were some characters that hung out around there.
It's still true.
I wouldn't.
I
doubt
hope
that.
so.
Yeah.
I
I wonder if it's the same characters.
wonder if they still play Love Shack all the time.
Love Jack.
It's as big as a whale. It's about to set sail.
Baby.
No B-52s. Was that during the limbo or was that during the number game?
The dice thing? Yeah.
The number
Is that
game.
when they chucked the dice around and then you had to
man, I
skate
forgot,
over
yeah.
to the
Had to
number?
skate to the number
Right.
and then make sure you pick a good one, otherwise you're out. Get out.
Yeah, how did you lose that? You
Oh,
like
man, I
You had
forgot.
to-
oh, you skated to the number and then they rolled the
Yeah,
dice.
it was
or
like
something?
musical chairs with dice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and if your
yeah.
number got called, you were gone.
Right.
And then it was always just like 2 kids. It was usually like Kyle Kreese versus like Sarah Snyder or something like that. I never won once.
Yeah, the limbo was killer too. I remember that
That
one.
was tough,
was
man.
bad at
That
that
was-
one, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
On
Not good.
skates, I can't even do it walking.
I
Yeah.
can barely just skate.
Yeah. Were you guys bladers or skaters?
I had blades.
I was
Yeah.
a blader.
I was a
Yeah.
blader.
I had
yeah.
blades, but I don't think I took them to Skateland too much. I think that was more for the street.
Just shred the.
Yeah,
straight
just
semester,
doing
man.
my little 6-inch hops. Whoa. It was tough.
No, they got a skate park now. I don't know if any
Now,
kids
yeah.
bust killer moves or not, but
Where's that at?
down south of town, next to Spurgeon Park.
Yeah, I was gonna
Right.
say, is
Oh,
that part of
Spurgeon
Spurgeon
Part
Park?
of
Yeah.
Spurgeon Park. Doesn't say what Spurgeon, so I claimed it.
Yeah,
It's all Spurgeons.
Hey, let's grab some spray paint. We can.
it's the Andy Spurgeon Park.
Heard it here first, folks. My 11 years at the pool.
You deserve a park, man.
Deserve a park. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's tough
I
duty.
mean, so does your dad, though.
I mean, the
It's-
fact that you didn't kill any kids.
You had to twirl and walk same time.
Oh, wow.
Difficult. Ben lived right across the street.
Yeah. I was a little poor at it as a
Oh,
kid.
yeah.
Super
Oh.
blonde haired.
That was my first introduction to the Shonkwilers because y'all went to the Christian school, and then they just show up for swim lessons. I'd be like,
Yeah.
what?
Where'd these kids
There's-
come from?
who
That
are
was
these- who are
yeah.
these kids?
That was the
What
thing about swim lessons in the summertime is you get to meet all the kids who didn't go to public school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All the weirdos. Ross Cody,
Yeah.
Shonks.
Yeah. I forgot. The Koopmans, they were. I don't even remember, man. It's.
I just thought you guys were some hillbillies. And they're like, no, we live right there.
Yeah. No, that's our house.
What?
That's it.
Did the,
We didn't ride the tractor in.
the Christian school was like through 8th grade? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you guys come over? Did you go all the way through?
No,
They shut down.
I
didn't they?
started going to public school in 7th grade,
Okay.
and they were still going. I forget when they actually shut down, but I made it to 7th.
The other problem with working right across the street from Ben's house is you had to be concerned about flying ordnance and explosions. And
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Fires,
Right.
flamethrowers, burn barrels. I remember
Yeah,
that
no,
one.
that was good.
That was a good boom.
Never convicted.
Never or the fire, the TP fire.
No, yeah.
Also not convicted.
Almost burned the school down. I heard.
Canceled our damn homecoming, and we were able to drink more
Yeah, yeah.
Go,
at
man.
the other dance.
Was that the toilet year?
There's a toilet
The
involved.
toilet? Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that.
Those were some good times. That was probably the best homecoming.
They don't do it like that.
Like, yeah.
It was absolutely the best homecoming.
The kids, yeah.
They canceled everything, but then
And
everything
so we just
still happened.
yeah, we just did everything on our own. Like no pep rally. Like, all right, we're gonna
have
do it
one
at Library
at
Square. Like,
what are you gonna do?
it kind of made the town more involved in it. Really,
It was very good.
right
Freedom
after
of
the
assembly.
parade. Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
that year, the TPing was magnificent that year.
Yeah.
Because the
We were
night
doing
before
great.
the fire incident, I remember Chris Furman was there, and the cops just weren't coming, and we're just sitting here nailing it. So he was one of the few kids with cell phones and pulled it out and called the cops on us to get him to come chase us. Astro Police Department, you got to get down here to the high school. It is getting crazy down here.
All the cops on your side.
Yeah.
Genius.
But it was, I was kind of disappointed this year driving around homecoming.
Yeah, it's been bad for
was
a while,
weak.
I think.
It was weak.
Kids
And
don't know what they're doing.
forking, No. Oh man, just
Fork soap.
yeah.
The soap phalluses on the what are those called? Skylights.
Yeah.
At
Oh,
the
yeah.
Yeah, that was
skylights
great.
of the high school.
All up and down the hallway.
Just wieners.
Oh man, putting flour in people's cars or saran wrapping them.
Yes.
Oh man, I got hit pretty good one year. It was Pauling and Sarah Snyder. They
Well, and Pauling had the industrial shit from Fairway.
Yeah.
Like, they used to like rat
50.
meat.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Tony, didn't your dogs get TP'd one time?
That wouldn't surprise me.
I feel like that's a story. It was some kind of thing where you like went inside the house for 5 seconds right after school, and then you came outside and you're because you had those. I remember it
We
was
had dogs in the
dogs in the
backyard,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, that-
It wouldn't surprise me. I don't remember our house getting TP'd very much, though. I was mostly an observer in all this. A highly entertained one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it wasn't boring.
I was too busy working, covering for Ben at Woody's so that he could go out and raise hell.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you weren't gonna do it, so Mr. Fine's house.
I think
doesn't
my
TP
dad was still.
itself.
Yeah, I think my dad was still president of the school board back then too. So
Oh,
it probably would
yeah.
have been poor form.
Yeah, yeah.
That'll put a damper on it.
Said to myself, this house ain't gonna TP. So.
He was so pumped though. The next day, he's like, "I don't have to buy toilet paper for 2 months."
That's Mr. Fine. That's totally. Oh, my God. Oh,
Do we have a comment?
Eric said Ben and Tony. That's it.
That's it.
Just Ben and Tony.
Good. He's paying attention.
Because I think the only live there's only one live. And it's
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good. At least Eric was.
Oh, there's two.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back on.
I text.
Hey, we've doubled our audience. That's great.
I text Chris Noss and Alex Mormon.
Oh, nice.
Told them to watch this evening. Who knows?
They're probably like, yeah, it's Friday night.
Yeah.
We got better crap to do.
Do they though?
It doesn't feel
Do
like
they?
Friday anymore.
Yeah.
It feels like a Wednesday or something like that to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, holiday weeks. They're
Yeah.
weird.
Yep.
It is weird.
Very, very weird.
Yeah,
Throw you for
pretty
a
much
loop.
has felt like Saturday to me for a couple days now, Spurge.
Yeah. Yeah. When you heading back?
Sunday morning,
Sunday
probably.
morning?
Yeah.
Benjo's leaving sometime.
Yeah.
Hey,
Question mark.
I can get you halfway to Arizona, if you need a ride. So.
Are you fly? Did you fly?
No, we drove.
Oh. Well, actually, I might do that. Where are you going to? This is not a bad idea, man.
Well, I live in Wichita.
All right. Let me look into some things.
Yeah.
But Wichita from
It's
to
in the right
Arizona,
direction.
Yeah. Gets me out of here.
Yeah.
It's a start.
Yeah. You miss Iowa City, though.
Yeah, I will miss Iowa
Ben
City.
loves his Iowa City.
It's not on the way to Arizona, though.
That's
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wasn't planning on hitting it this time. I wasn't planning on coming home this time, so
Yeah.
I gotta get out of here. I'll get stuck here.
Yeah.
Too many people to visit.
Serena and I are your sound and mic setup, says Shump.
What?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's Shump. He told us the story. I guess it was Alex Mormon that gave him that nickname.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a great
supposedly.
story.
I talked to Nos about this, and I thought it was me.
Ooh.
Yeah,
We have a genuine disputed material fact here.
I mean,
All
I
right.
don't remember exactly, but Nos confirmed it, and I was like, I thought so too, man.
Well, let's litigate the issue. So, Ben, what
How
was
do
the
you
story?
remember this?
So here's how I remember it going down. We're in some one of Mr. Johnson's class, down in the basement. But,
Dave Johnson.
yeah.
I haven't thought about that guy for a long time.
And I think Eric showed up with a shaved head, and someone started calling him Curly, and I'm super into the Stooges. So I'm like, so I don't remember who called him Curly, but I was like, call him Shemp, that's better. and it just, I thought it was me right then and there, but maybe I heard someone, I don't know. My memory's not quite
Because Eric Hansen,
existent at times.
Hansen said,
Yeah.
Mormon said, "What's your name, kid?"
My name's Eric.
That's a stupid name. You look like Shemp. And then he stood on a chair and yelled, "Hey, everybody! This guy's name is Shemp."
Well, I like that one too. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I can see that
Both
happening.
plausible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. Yeah. I think either way.
Court renders no decision, I guess.
Yeah, right. Well,
You know,
we need more.
we need to
more
take
evidence.
a poll. I
More
think there
substantiating
were other
evidence.
people there. There were witnesses.
There were witnesses.
Someone get a hold of maybe Evan Sabby was in the house.
Yeah, could be.
I think he's in Boston.
Yeah. Who else would have been there? Maybe a Mr. Evans, Nate Evans.
Oh,
I don't remember. I know Chris now. Maybe Matt Pauling.
oh,
That could be.
probably.
What other character witnesses do I got?
We got some characters anyway. Chris Dawson and Matt Pauly. I think my favorite Ben story still though is you hitchhiking in Des Moines and running into Matt Pauly.
That was awesome. That blew my mind, man.
Go.
I was I don't even remember what I was there for. I was there visiting other friends, and as I was just leaving town, I think I was heading towards Iowa City, and I just get right on the interstate. Some kid dropped me off, and a couple cars go by, of course, and then one went by, and it looked like Matt and Jess, and I'm just, I got my thumb out, I just staring. I'm like, those guys look really like Matt and Jess, and then they stop, and I was like, no. It couldn't be. No way. And so I grab my pack, I run up, and sure enough, Map hauling, and they weren't heading to Iowa City. They were heading somewhere south of there. I forget. So they took me at least halfway, but never would have thought in my mind. I think he was there visiting Dustin, and
Wow.
Just random.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen him for, I think, probably since his wedding was the last time I had seen him, and then that happened, and then I didn't see him again for a couple of years after that. So that was the one the universe wanted us to hang out. Just it knew we wouldn't have enough time. So
That's awesome.
Man, what are the odds? Well, and you had a crazy run in coming home.
Yeah, man. I got off I-29 at Missouri Valley. Thought I should fill up with gas here. We're within range of home. Whip in. The next car that pulls in right next to me is Andy Inman and his wife Emily and all their dogs. And
Really?
his-
Heading up here for the Inman family Christmas.
I guess so. So, they pull in, and I see the passenger side. I'm like, man, that looks a lot like Emily Lester, And then guy gets out, and he walks around, and he's looking at me like, God, that looks like Tony. And I'm like, dang. We just said hello, I told him I'd race him home. And I'm pretty sure I beat him.
yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a small world out there, man.
Yeah.
It is.
It's ridiculous.
Run into folks. I got a text one night, like 12:30 a.m., and I was in bed already, and it was from an old roommate of mine from Iowa City that was in pharmacy school with me. He lives out in Colorado Springs, and he just goes, "Are you Woody's or at the Top Hat?" And I'm like, "What? How would he know? He wouldn't know Estoril Bars. He's never been here." And then I get a call, and it was Kerry, but he was with Andy Inman and Kevin Moreau. They met out at the bar, and they
In
were all wearing
Colorado Springs.
Hawkeye shit.
Nice.
One thing led to another, and they called me.
Funny.
It's weird.
Wow.
It's weird, man.
We got a few more comments there, Andy.
Just Shemp saying Ben's still a desert nomad.
No, that's true.
Shut up, sillies. Spelled really silly, like SILLYIES. But there's 3 watchers now, so
Ooh.
3 observant people.
Getting creeped on.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
That's all right. So what do you think of my setup down here, boys?
Well, it's pretty awesome. You got a lot of speakers and guitars down here.
I do,
Jim.
yeah.
This is like, where you go to hide out or something.
Does it kind of give you a crazy guy bunker vibe, or?
No, not quite.
Not
I think the
quite.
blankets soften that feel.
Okay.
Like if it was more plastic, but like I know if my blood gets on that, it's not coming out. So you're not gonna get my blood on that.
Good.
Yeah, it's less Dexter,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
rocker than I pulled up that King of the Hill episode the other day.
Oh,
where
yeah.
Dale Gribble starts pirate radio, serving the broadcasting to the Tri-House area. He starts going crazy about hour 36.
Crazy for Dale.
Right.
Right.
I set up a rule that anytime that's on anywhere on TV, it's getting recorded. 'Cause
Yeah.
I just haven't watched those episodes. It's a great TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's been a long time.
Yeah, it's too bad they quit making new ones.
Yeah, I don't know what Mike Judge has been up to. He hasn't really made it. He made him that movie Abstract, which was
Didn't
okay.
see that one.
He hasn't really done a lot since, I don't think.
Yeah, has there been any recent Beavis and Butthead or anything like that? No.
Yeah.
God, I love Beavis and Butthead.
They were fantastic.
Oh yeah.
You remember like how like stressed out the news media was about Beavis and Butthead? It was just gonna wreck kids for the rest of the.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, I mean, look at our generation.
Made us.
Wow, I couldn't watch it, so that's why I turned out so good.
Yeah, me
I
too.
stayed off of it.
Yeah, MTV was definitely prohibited in my household.
Yeah, and that was when they played music too.
It wasn't even the trash they have now.
I know. Like now it should be off limits. Now it's
Yeah.
just garbage.
Yep.
I wonder how long it's been since they played a music video.
Oh.
Do they even make music videos anymore?
I
think
know
they
that when
still
I was
make
in
'em.
college,
Yeah.
between like midnight and 4 a.m., they played music videos.
Killer.
I remember the local channel here would play music Sunday nights at like between 4 and 5 a.m. or something ridiculous like that. Because that's where I started to get into like Alkaline Trio and Taking Back Sunday, bands like that. I saw them on what was it, Channel 11 or
Whatever was it.
They did that on
Yeah,
local
yeah,
on
really.
local access, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, 'cause it was through the college. It was a couple kids in the
Oh,
college.
sure.
Oh, okay.
But it was
At
it
4
was
o'clock in the
yeah,
morning.
Sunday night, like something. It was something ridiculous, but it was awesome.
Ben's watching it like a little.
Because that was before you could like find music on the internet.
Right.
True.
So we only had our radio station, which was crap unless you like country or oldies, which I don't.
Speaking of radio, I just remembered another significant achievement mark on the community that Ben had, which was the end of the senior radio day at KILR.
What was that? I don't remember this.
No, my recollection. I mean, they used to have a senior day at KILR where they let the seniors like take over the radio station for the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they would run they would run part of the programming was music, but then they would have profiles of every senior in the class.
Sure, yeah.
So they'd give you like this questionnaire of like, what's your favorite
I
color
know-
and
I might know
stuff.
where this is going.
So you can go ahead and take over for your Ben.
My favorite food was stroganoff. Just love stroganoff. I think Tyler Patochka read it on the air. I remember.
Oh, great.
Just really into it.
Yeah, because he knew he was.
I'm sure it wasn't just Ben, but after that, even this is something that went on for years and years and years, and that was they never my class no senior day at the radio.
Oh, really? We were the
No.
last ones.
Yeah, you're such a bunch of goof offs, and the FCC fines were so large. Apparently, they just
Shut down the killer bee.
too risky to let high school kids in the studio. Yeah.
Yeah,
suppose.
we're too clever for him.
That's right.
It's not our fault.
Sneak it in.
Sneaking a little stroganoff. I usually do.
You have to. You can't be blatant about it anymore. Yeah.
Patochka was funny.
Yeah, I haven't seen him forever.
I don't think I've seen him since high school.
Yeah.
Last
night-
time he was Chicago.
Yeah, doing improv in Chicago is what
For Second City, right?
I don't remember.
Or he was doing something. Yeah. No clue. Him and that whole crew, Alex and Ian and
Yeah.
Jeremiah and
Yeah, man. I miss those guys.
yeah, they're good peeps.
I just don't want to go to Chicago.
Yeah.
I never want to go. I don't need to go to Chicago again.
No. I think I've been there twice.
Been there a
and
couple
that was-
times, and it's
That was plenty.
Sketchy
Yeah.
or what?
just nothing there I want to do. It's super
huge.
huge.
Yeah.
There's
So
way
many
too many
people.
people and rats and
And it's cold. It's like,
cold and gross.
like a crazy bitter cold from the lake effect, and just miserable. I don't have any desire to be
Yeah.
there.
I've never been.
It's
I mean,
Hey,
go
you-
to check it out.
You didn't go on the band trip that year.
They got
No.
that giant mirrored bean. That's actually kind of cool.
That was that the same year as a challenge trip?
It was.
Yeah, I rolled with the challenge trip, and I think
You
over the
win.
band trip, yeah,
You won
that was proved to be a good decision.
the challenge trip with
To Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
Kansas
Yeah,
City
that
with,
was a good one.
with
Yeah.
Mrs. Colby
Yeah,
and
we had a great time.
and
I was-
Russell.
Yeah, I was thinking she was like 25 or something at the time.
Yeah,
She was
Seemed like a
young.
baby. Yeah.
She was young.
Yeah, God, man, 25 does seem young.
I just remember she turned her wedding ring inside out. She goes, "This is my I'm not married dance." And starts going on. 'Cause we were gonna go to a rave. Like that was the whole reason we went to Kansas.
To go to a rave.
And we couldn't go because there was a stabbing at the venue the week
Yeah.
before or something. So we ended up going to this teen night at a nightclub and break dancers, and that was a wild trip.
That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I ate Burger King every day for
Yeah.
a solid week, I think, and I just felt horrible.
we were only there
I got
for
home.
2 nights.
Casey. We went to the museum. We went to the Nelson Atkins Museum. I remember that. I don't know what else we did for the rest of our time.
Wasn't
we played
there
a lot of hacky sack?
A lot of hacky sack. Wasn't there a theme park? Because I seem
Oh, yeah.
I seem to
There
recall
was, yeah.
Seth Hatlin like losing his wallet on a
Yep, on a
roller coaster that went upside down or something.
Yeah.
He just had to watch it fall.
Yeah.
It's inverted.
Yep. Yeah, we went to Worlds of Fun.
Worlds
up
of
there.
Fun up
Yeah.
north there. Yep.
That was good.
Super challenging.
Yeah.
Really high.
Yeah. What we should have done in Kansas City is the World War One museum there actually is really
rad.
excellent. Yeah.
That's cool.
So if you ever go back,
I just moved from Kansas City. My first apartment was like 4 blocks from
Yeah.
there. I was right up there on the on Martini Corner area, and went there one time, and it was really cool.
Yep.
Went up on the big elevator thing.
Yep, to the top.
There's like this big
It's a big tower.
tower
Yeah.
deal that overlooks all the city. And
It's the only museum in the United States that's dedicated solely to World War One. And all the leaders of the Axis powers were there for the dedication of the museum, which was the only time they ever got together after the war.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Tony too.
Yep.
Officially.
I'm full of, yeah, right.
They had their annual baseball game.
And it is from the top of the tower is an amazing view of Kansas City too.
Yeah. Very cool.
So put that on your list.
I'm writing it down.
You know,
World War One.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job.
Have you guys been? I think it's called City Park in St. Louis.
oh, yeah, the city museum.
Yeah.
City museum downtown. It's like a big playground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been there, but man, I'm excited to.
Me,
Like,
Mormon, and Austin and I went one time.
Nice.
And it was fun, real fun. They have all these outdoor, these cages you can climb up and around and up on the roof. And
I think I heard you got stuck. In
I got
one of
stuck in
those.
one. Yeah, there was one that was kind of like a rainbow, and it got real skinny at the top. And I got up there, and I was on my stomach, and I couldn't get my feet under or around, and so I had to keep crawling down face first until I got to Mormon, and then he kind of helped me flip over. That was something.
It's just a big adult size.
Yeah,
Playground
they have
thing?
this huge
Yeah,
warehouse
so
full of stuff, and there's slides connecting different levels of the museum, and you can buy beers, and
Wow.
definitely kids would get lost.
Yeah.
You'd have to put a GPS chip on those little biters, but because there's hidden rooms and stuff you can crawl down in, and all of a sudden we found ourselves in this room where there's no real we took a slide down there, and there's no real entrance except this little crawl hole. You crawl up, and then you're under a floor, and
Wow.
it's wild.
Sounds cool.
No,
It's
it
really
sounds
fun.
awesome. Yeah,
it's really fun.
I really want to check it out.
Yeah, it's cheap too. Real cheap.
I'm a fan of that.
Right downtown, St. Louis.
Sweet.
So where are you at now, Ben?
I'm in Patagonia,
Still in
Arizona.
Patagonia.
Yeah, Southwest, super close to Mexico. You could see it from our yard.
Nice.
Yeah, I like to have that exit in view. You know, in case of a fire, I got my my emergency
You gotta
exit.
be careful of all the invaders
Yeah.
and the marauders coming at you.
Oh man, with their swords and their on camelback, probably. I don't.
Oh man.
Nah, yeah, that stuff's ridiculous. I do have a handful of friends that go down and they'll go onto the other side and bring supplies and help them through the bureaucratic process.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what they're doing. You know, they're just coming up here, and that's where they get in trouble. Is they just try to cross without knowing that you have to go through the proper channels because nobody knows the proper channels.
Right, because it's made specifically so it's hard and cumbersome.
Yeah, and it's not advertised. You know, it's.
Yeah.
But so they go down, they hand out literature in a few languages that tells them how to claim asylum and then feed and water them. Because even when they do, they still sit there for months. Like I remember at the border crossing, there was 5 Guatemalan families and they were there for over a month. But the community around there is great. The community brought in food and blankets and toys for the kids, and
Nice.
because they had nothing to do. They were waiting for paperwork, essentially.
Right.
Bureaucracy.
Lots of bureaucracy.
We just don't have enough of it, really.
No. Must breed more.
There's got to be a form for that.
Let me talk to my supervisor.
Yeah.
Get back to you in 10 to 15 working days.
Yeah.
Ben, you were telling me the other day about your farming. Could you elaborate on that a little bit more? Did you fill Tony in on some of the stuff you were working on? Or?
I don't know.
No, he told me he's into doing some landscaping. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just planting things, growing food. The farming I like because it's not the farming I grew up knowing, which is the farming that's here. 1,000 acres, a monoculture crop. It's the first real farm I got on was 14 acres, and it was just a variety of veggies, heirloom varieties, but organically grown. And it was a lot of work. I mean, to not use chemicals requires a lot of work, but I loved it. I mean, it's because it's super hands-on. To me, it's creating life. Like, we put the seeds in the ground and we watch them go through their whole life cycle and eat them. Like, I think it's fantastic. It's like magic. I seriously see it as magic. Growing food, putting a tiny seed in the ground and having it produce food. And if you let it grow, it'll produce more seeds. So the next year you can grow more crops. Like, if you've ever wanted to see a plant that wants you to spread it and use it and eat it, just grow veggies. Like, it's awesome.
Absolutely. Are you still doing the natural lands restoration stuff?
Sometimes I don't always work with them. They don't always have money.
Oh, right.
It's hard to find money to restore the ecology of a landscape, which sounds stupid, but there's no profit in it, in improving air quality and the life of animals. But it is fun, and I volunteer as much as I can because I enjoy doing it. Pardon.
So what's the biggest hurdle with is it like bugs or rabbits or something with organic farming that you've got to account for?
Mainly bugs.
Yeah.
And it can be weeds too, but as far as animals, like, we fenced off the property fairly well. We went and reinforced it, and then we had big watchdogs, big Pomeranians they're just huge dogs. They're awesome. They're one of my favorite breeds.
Are Pomeranians like this?
It's like a lap dog.
Pyrenees. That's the
That other.
yeah. There we go. I do confuse those.
It's only like 150 pounds.
Yeah, I know.
Pomeranian's probably more dangerous, anyways.
Yeah, those little guys.
I don't know, those Pyrenees, man. I've seen them when they're in attack mode because they're super smart, but they consider any animal, humans included, to be part of their herd, and so they're protective. Like, they're great. I mean, they're amazing animals. But yeah, don't piss them off though.
What kind of animals you guys get down there? You little antelopes?
We do have antelopes. We have these pronghorn sheep.
Nice.
That I guess they reintroduced not that long ago, and they're really coming around. Like,
Really?
it's exciting to see them. I'm still, look at that, there's some more over there as we're driving through the country. Like,
Sure.
And then my favorite animal that we have there is a javelina, also called a collared peccary. But yeah, they're weird. But they look like little pigs. Like, they're that size.
They have tusks, don't they?
Yeah, they have tusks. They have super coarse, dark hair. Like, they look prehistoric. And then, but I think they're more closely related to the deer than they are a pig. But they kind of have that snout.
Yeah.
And they have really narrow bodies. The bodies are, like, super narrow. But to look at them from the side, they're broad. So, so I've seen one, like, run at a barbed wire fence, and then right at the last second just slides through like that. It's the most amazing thing I've seen.
Freaking little bastard.
I know.
Are they pretty common or what?
Yeah. I
I think in
mean,
the desert Southwest.
yeah, they're almost a problem. I
Yeah.
mean, because they'll get into the trash. Like they know our trash cycle. Like you see them every
Must be Friday.
every Sunday night, every Thursday night. If you want to find them, you just walk through town and you'll come across a couple herds. Like
Wow.
they're just they know.
Like deer up
Yeah.
in these parts, huh?
Well, I know when I was in Marfa, Texas, they were warning us about driving down the highways at night because of javelinas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because they're pretty big. I guess
Yeah, they can
you don't
be,
want to
yeah.
hit one with your car. That's for sure.
Really?
No, yeah, because they do. I mean, the older ones they can get huge. The little babies, oh man, just adorable. These little hot dogs, these furry little hot dogs running around. And they're good eating too. Like we've eaten a couple, and they look super gamey, but they actually have a really mild taste, and they're like, you marinate it, cook it in the crock pot all day, but it's like a little pulled pork almost.
Nice.
It's
What do you do
delicious.
for water? 'Cause you said you live it's near Tucson, right?
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
south.
So how do you farm there?
Everything is irrigated. You got to drill a well, pretty much. But almost all farms are close to rivers, and when I say rivers, it's a dry riverbed.
Right, a former river.
Yeah, rivered. But they do run occasionally. We do have a rainy season, July and August.
Yeah.
And that's when they'll actually run. And this last one, we had a bad rainy season. I think our river only ran once. But like last year, it ran like 8 or 9 times. And sometimes for a full day, which is amazing. Like,
Did you go swimming in the river?
no, it's not for when that water comes down after a big rain. It's full of trees and snakes and
sure.
rocks, and you don't want to.
Snakes.
I assume.
How deep do you have to drill for water? Do you know?
It depends. Where my well is on our house, we live really close to the river, and our well's down at the bottom of a hill. So I think ours is only like 60 or 70 feet.
Okay.
But I know people that have gone 1,000, 1,500.
Wow.
Wow.
I think 300 is a bit more typical.
Wow.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah, there's not much for surface
It's
water.
wild.
Yeah, it is.
I never lived anywhere that's like remotely desertish, so I've always just been like, oh, there's plenty of water right there and there and there.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Western Kansas is like 100 to 200 feet usually.
Okay. Same sort of deal though. All crops everything's got to be irrigated.
My impression is that by irrigating in Western Kansas, you boost your yield enough to pay for the irrigation.
That sounds right.
Some more working about the same amount about a wash.
There's a mix of it. There is a lot of center pivot irrigation in Western Kansas, but
I feel like yeah.
but there's a lot of dryland wheat too. So it's mostly
Oh.
wheat though.
Sure. I feel like when I've flown west, like when I get to like Western Kansas or Eastern Colorado, like you just see
It's all circles.
set,
Yeah,
those
yeah.
center pivots.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Tony's a flyer. This guy
Yeah.
flies.
Yeah, what's on the glider docket
Glider,
coming up here?
next month. I'm heading to. I'm skipping Christmas this year.
Uh-huh.
It's too cold. Tired of it.
Going gliding.
I'm gonna go to Australia.
Yeah?
Fly gliders. It's gonna be
Nice.
freaking hot down there. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So, yep, we're heading down there middle of December, flying a contest end of December, beginning of January, and coming back.
Sweet, man.
It's gonna be
So
fun.
I've been always meaning to ask you, how do these contests work? Like, what are you graded? Or-
Yeah, so you're scored based on your speed. So each day they set a task. We use GPS tracking and navigation, so they set a couple GPS waypoints for you to go around. The goal is always to make it back where you started at the end of the day.
Okay.
And task length depends on how good the weather is. So, say between 75 and 200 miles, depending on how good the day is.
Wow.
And you get normal competitions. You get it's like 1,000-point system where the fastest guy around gets 1,000 points for the day,
Okay.
and slower is proportional. If you don't make it around, then of course you get pretty low points.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
And so typically, like a national contest in the U.S. is usually 10 or 11 days of flying.
Oh wow.
World championship is 14 days of flying.
You just do one a day.
Yep, one task a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody's got the same kind of glider.
Typically, they're split up by classes, usually based on wingspan. So typically, in a normal contest, everyone's flying a very similar performance. Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool. Yep, it's a fun way to explore the atmosphere. No engine.
Yeah.
Up there with the birds.
Can you bring passengers? Do you guys?
Yeah, we have 2-seat gliders that we use for training and for taking rides and stuff. So yeah, most of the competition is done in single seat.
Because you instruct too, don't you?
Yep,
Nice.
in airplanes and in gliders.
Cool.
And you're flying a lot more with
Yeah,
regular old planes here lately too.
yeah. I got a real job in the spring again, so I'm a charter pilot,
Okay.
flying Beach King Air. So, yeah, mostly taking people around the state of Kansas for the most part.
Okay.
Day trips,
Is that like a prop?
twin turbo prop. Yep.
Okay.
It's a pretty cool airplane. I'll go up to like the high 20,000 foot range.
Wow.
270 mile an hour or so. It's not too bad.
Pressurized
Yep.
cabin,
pressurized,
all that.
everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. I remember one time I think we were flying back and forth to
Yeah.
Ames. And
We went to Waterloo.
yeah, we
once.
flew Amy over to.
Yeah, because I think we were coming here for the weekend or something.
Right.
So Amy was going to UNI at the time, so we swung up to Waterloo, picked her up, came up here,
Yeah.
dropped her off on the way back. That was fun.
pretty slick. Yeah.
That's sweet.
Tony made me fly while we were
Oh yeah.
in the air, and like I'm like going like this, and I think the plane was kind of corkscrewing its way through the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy was the best student I ever had.
Terrifying. Planes freak me out, man. Like you can't just stop like a car.
It's very true.
And you don't want to.
Yeah, it's very important to keep moving.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool to learn how to do someday. But
Yeah.
flying.
Yeah, I thought about it pretty hard till I actually tried it, and then I was kind of done.
Like, got it. Yeah, I'm good.
You just need a better instructor, Jim.
Oh, yeah,
That's
I don't
probably.
believe that.
I do. How often do you guys fly in your dreams?
I haven't
Actually,
had one
not that often.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you get enough of it.
And usually, if I fly my dreams, it's usually bad dreams, like crashing and
oh,
burning, like
yeah.
crazy crashes.
But are you
and
like flying a plane, or are you like flying as a human?
stuff. Usually flying a plane, yeah.
I fly as a human occasionally.
Yeah.
It's been a while though.
I haven't had one for a while either.
Has been a while, but there was a minute where I was getting, for like a solid year or two, it was like almost every other night I was having some pretty, where I was able to start learning tricks and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Like, yeah, I was getting good at it.
Mastering the fly.
Yeah. The hover was a hard one.
Yeah.
Hover seems like it'd be easy, but flying's easier because you got the momentum and
Yeah.
like, you don't stop. I was starting to learn how to hover.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, for hovering for me was the thing where I had to like concentrate on it really hard before I would start to lift off. But then if I was
I mean,
flying around, yeah.
Anybody who's played Grand Theft Auto knows this, right? I mean,
I suppose maybe that's where I picked it up. But I've had those since I was a kid.
all the helicopter pilots I've talked to will confirm that. Flying straight's not too hard. Parking it, holding the position.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helicopters are weird though. That's
Have you ever
freaky.
flown one before,
I
Tony?
just a couple months ago took my first ever ride in a helicopter,
Okay.
but I've never gotten a chance to try to fly one.
I
I feel like the problem I'm a little afraid to try to fly one because I think if I actually got my hands on the controls, then I would really want to learn how to do it.
yeah.
And they're super expensive. I mean, they make airplanes look like just chump change, So
Yeah, I'm sure Leah'd be real pleased.
yeah, just burn all the money on it. Got to spend it while it's still worth something.
Hey, that's
you
right.
can't take it with you. Once our economy crashes, who cares?
Exactly. Then I'll really wish I took those helicopter lessons.
I'll trade you peppers for a
Thanks.
helicopter ride.
Yeah, I'm doing this all wrong. I have no idea how to grow food. We're
Well,
gonna be.
And was it you that was saying you didn't want to skydive because you didn't want to get hooked on it? Or is that somebody else?
That wasn't me.
is
I've
good.
never had any interest in jumping out of an airplane.
Okay.
Oh, I think I've gone 3 times, and I even though I've only done it the 3 times, I still think it's better than sex. Like, it's just this amazing, and I've always done tandems where it's not even just me.
Right.
And I like the tandem because then you don't have to think about nothing. You just get a fall, like. And no, because after you fall for so long and the ground's still so far away, in your mind you're automatically like, oh, I guess I'm flying. Like I'm not falling.
You guys do tricks and stuff when they tandem? Do they make you spin or?
A little. They'll do a couple spins. We did a backflip out of the plane, like stuff like
nice.
that. It's fun, but nothing like crazy. We were.
Yeah.
I should get into that. All right, I will.
Is it just over the top adrenaline kind
Yeah,
of? Or,
yeah. And I have a little fear of heights, but from up that high,
Yeah, you can't see the ground really, anyways.
yeah, like
detail.
it just
Yeah.
it goes away, and even when it does come on, it's too late by then, and you just ride it. You're like,
Yeah.
screw it, like the ground's coming. And
I was convinced when I was a kid that the skyboarding was going to be like the new thing.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
where they take off, they look like snowboards and
Yeah,
stuff, and they just
yeah.
start like,
it was sweet.
yeah, absolutely.
I like those flying squirrel suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Squirrel suits are cool, man.
I know a guy that does that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because sometimes they don't do it always out of planes. They'll just
Mountains.
jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like that's nuts, man.
Yeah.
Those videos are.
Oh, yeah.
That looks
When
like
they
an
do that real
adrenaline
close
boner for sure.
flying, where they're like going down
Yeah.
a ski run
Yeah.
Yep.
in the summer. and-
Find a fjord in Norway or something.
Like through trees. Like, oh
gaps
man.
And that's where like a little oops is dead.
Yeah.
There's a lot of planning that goes into
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Because you hit anything going that, because they're going fast.
Yeah.
I remember one where a guy like stubbed his toe on a rock or something and went tumbling. It was because those they always end at like a big drop off,
Right.
Yeah.
Because then that's where they open their parachute to land in the valley. And he like hit his foot on a rock outcropping at the very end, and he tumbled end over end off the end of the mountain. It was crazy. A lot of those videos end up with like rest in peace. We miss
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna go though, man, like that's a killer
Quick and
way to
just
go.
splat.
Yeah, nice and quick. You're not
not
old
gonna
enough that you're shitting yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet if you did something like that, you'd have to have a killer nickname though. Like you'd have to be like Buzz or I don't know.
Thunder.
Laser.
Bolt Speedman. 2 fast names. And what's Eric want now? Am I seeing more comments?
He said, Tony and Kevin sound the same.
Who's Kevin?
Kevin.
Kevin.
So apparently Tony sounds like Kevin Grimes.
Oh, yeah. Kevin Graham.
And he wants to hear their Mount Rushmores. Because we played Mount Rushmore with Eric last
Yeah.
time.
What's Mount Rushmore?
We pick like your four favorite somethings.
Oh,
Yeah, we need some subject matter, though.
Yeah, because we did superheroes.
Yeah, we
with
did.
him, I think.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on
A lot of time.
superheroes.
Shemp, and then Shemp did a test on us. And
Yeah, you had like all these pedestrian
I just
choices.
I just
apparently.
messed up. Yeah, he just told me I sucked. Essentially. He was very proud of Jim, though.
Yeah. Well, I
But
was
your
just,
Rushmore was crap. Huh?
Yeah, well, apparently he had 2 billionaires on there that don't even have powers. Get real.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
Tom-
saying-
Batman,
Iron
Iron
Man.
Man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. They're just rich.
They're just
That's-
rich.
That's not
That's
a
it.
power. It's a disease.
Some could say they're the worst mutants of all.
what were we talking? Oh yeah, the Ninja Turtles. Were all you guys into Ninja Turtles as a kid?
I was
or-
a Ninja
Heck yeah,
Turtle
I
kid,
dressed
for
up
sure.
in I think 1990 Halloween. I was I was the red one.
Raphael.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I ever dressed up.
He's cool but rude.
Yeah.
I was super into the live action movie with
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched
Corey
that like
Feldman,
a million
I think is one of
times.
the voices.
Or the tape out. Definitely
Oh,
wore
yeah.
the tape out on
Wise
that.
men say, never pay full price for late pizza.
That's right.
Yep. The wisdom that came with
Yeah,
that movie.
dude.
So, who was everybody's favorite turtle?
I was
Did you have
Donatello, or not Donatello. He's a nerd. I like Michelangelo.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
kind of
Mike-
thought that.
I think Michelangelo.
You guys seem like
He's a
Michelangelo
party
fans.
He's a party
man.
dude.
Yeah.
Cowabunga.
Tony, same for you, or did you like? You said you're the red one, so
Yeah,
Raphael was it?
Yeah, Raphael was my guy again.
Yeah, I was with you there. Raphael was kind of the emo one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could relate.
A lot of emotions.
Get real
Yeah.
broody.
I heavily supported their heavy pizza habit, though. That's
Oh,
part
yeah.
of the attraction for
Absolutely.
me.
Makes sense.
I basically was part Ninja Turtle in that
true.
respect.
Yeah.
All you got to do is eat pizza almost every night of the week. Perfect.
And in the video game,
Yeah.
it gave you
Do that
life.
twice.
You get a full pizza in the video game.
Yeah, it just gives you more health.
The best food there is.
Wonder if that was brought to you by like the pizza lobby.
Brought to you by Woody's Pizza. The Woody's
Yeah.
Pizza, by the way, is still my favorite pizza.
It's still fantastic.
Yeah, that's what every time anybody's like, "Oh, I like New York style pizza. I like Chicago style pizza." I'm like, "Yeah, I like Esterville style pizza. That's
Yeah.
my preferred."
Oh, that thin crust, the cut in squares, greasy as shit. Love it. Like everything about it.
What'd you get the other night? You guys ordered, right?
Yeah, we got the maize, the hamburger onion mushroom.
Maize a good one.
And then
Yeah.
the Bates, which is pepperoni, Canadian bacon mushroom.
Yeah,
They're good.
those people.
I had a Woody special because I was, eating light. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Woody's is a classic.
yeah.
The burger's my go-to.
Yeah.
That one's rough though. That one's
You got to be hungry for that.
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
sitting there. You
Yeah.
got a dough baby. You got
yeah.
double cheese.
Double cheese, double
sausage.
crust, right? Or
And
double
Yeah,
sauce.
double
pepperoni
crust,
and double
double-
sausage.
Yeah. Like double
and then one
everything.
layer of
Yeah.
pepperoni.
Named after the guy who Cole ran against. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, what
Costed?
is it? I
Yeah.
thought it was after some like train
No, it's-
conductor.
No. That was the Knudsen.
Ah, yeah,
Knudsen
yeah,
was
Knudsen, that's
Knudsen
right.
worked on the railroad. Yeah.
That's a double hamburger, double cheese.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm impressed, man.
I
You
remember
a
these,
lot.
man.
Yeah.
I almost remember. I was thinking about it the other day. I almost remember the recipes for like the sauce and the dough.
Yeah.
I could.
What about the
start rolling.
ranch?
The ranch was easy because it was just buttermilk and mayonnaise and then a packet of ranch.
But it's so damn good.
Sorry to ruin your
Yeah,
fantasy. It's some
know what I'm
complicated thing.
I know what I'm doing when I get home. I'm making me some runny Woody's ranch.
I know that was classic ranch. And the lasagna was great
How long did you work? You worked for Woody's for quite a while.
for a while because I worked there in high school for I don't know, a year and a half or 2 years.
Yeah.
And then once I moved away and I came back and worked there for about another year when I was like 25.
Oh, that was when we were just frolfing all the time.
Yeah, because I was
Me, you,
working
and-
like 3 jobs and I'd get off one at 4. We'd froth till 4:30 and then I'd run down to
Down to Woody's.
to Woody's at 5. Like, and then, yeah, that was good times actually. I
Mormon
loved it.
was around.
Yeah, that was a good crew. That was a fun crew. The high school crew was good too.
Yeah, we had a great time.
That was fun as shit.
Yep.
The
Ben and I were talking though. Like I go down there, I don't know anybody. I feel like I know Jimmy John behind the
yeah.
bar, but
No, when I went down, I mean, you two were there, but otherwise, and then Nick Erickson. Otherwise, I didn't know anyone else there. Monica Shetta, I do know her.
neighbor.
Yeah, neighbor. Which my house tore down her house. I mean, my parents.
It was an incredible fight.
I'm sick of your house.
Ben's house versus Monica's house.
We're on the hill. And
You had the advantage of altitude, right?
off the top ropes.
Oh man.
Well, it's because whatever dude that bought it from them, he was gonna turn it into an apartment, and the first and only thing he did was put doors on it. So he added like 6 doors, and then didn't touch it for 10 years. Like, it was something ridiculous like that. I mean, that it had to been torn down.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, man, I don't know a lot of people out there in the scene anymore.
It's all right. The pizza's still good.
Pizza's
Yeah,
still
that's what
delicious.
matters.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think-
same recipe, good shit.
I don't know what it's in. Is it the dough or is it the? I think it's a dough crust combo, or dough sauce.
Yeah.
Like that's the big difference.
Well, and I always loved the hamburger. It's the only place I've had that uses like raw hamburger. It's not hamburger pellets.
Right.
It's like actual hamburger meat. Like I think
And
that
just-
makes a big
And
difference.
just brown that up.
We just grind it up frozen, and then you throw it on the pizza and it just cooks in the oven.
Cooks in-
That's why it's so greasy. Is it?
Secrets revealed.
Yeah.
Dude, no kidding.
Too bad only 3 people are listening.
Eric's gonna start
One
making
now.
pizzas.
Shump's already on his way back to Fairway. Pick up all the ingredients.
Start taking notes.
Actually, that one person very well might just be my phone.
Yeah, he might have given up on us when we didn't do.
This
Mount
is like
Rushmore.
a Facebook Live thing or something?
It's
YouTube.
going to YouTube.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
on YouTube TV?
Yep.
Wow.
We got a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
14 subscribers
Yeah.
now.
Whoa.
I forgot to make the tinfoil
What's the
play
name
button.
of it?
We're called Project Ion. It's 2 words podcast.
Okay.
Yep. So you
I
can.
should have asked these questions before we started.
That's all right.
I thought about it.
Definitely number 6.
Is it? Yeah. I was way off.
Come on, Jim.
I know.
Numbers are tough, man. They're
Oh.
tough.
Yeah, the Eric Hansen has 54 views. How many do you think were Eric Hansen?
I don't know. I always watch it once just to see
One was me.
if there's a hiccup in the sound or anything like that. But
Right.
Yeah.
I don't do repeat plays usually, so I don't know who's watching.
Well,
I know Chris Noss watches.
Chris
Yeah.
Noss
You told
watched.
me.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
He had it up while he was at work, I think.
Yeah.
On the side screen. Chris Noss, a goofy kid.
I think Papa Bear. He was asking about it before I came, and I meant to actually shoot him a text to tell him what to look for. He's like,
Oh.
because as I was leaving the house, he's like, "Do I just look up Jimmy Rosendahl podcast or what?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'll shoot you a text." And I just remembered that I said that right now. So I guess he'll watch it later.
Yep, it can be viewed. We live stream to YouTube. That's how we record it.
Mm-hmm.
We were originally doing straight to just audio stuff, but then Kevin would like put it in his computer and try to
Try to
line it up and everything. And I don't know. It was
Looked like a bad anime.
yeah. It was. It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of stumbling my way through everything. I know how to run a mixer a little bit, and it just lines the sound right into the phone. So it's amazing what you can do with
Genius.
phones these days. It's like a
Yeah, I mean, you
production studio.
Can, right.
I mean,
And they still
not
make-
my phone, but
Yeah, I saw his phone the other night. So he's still.
Ben's
I mean,
rocking the flow.
How long would it would take you a long time to text your
it
dad?
really does,
a
man. That's
URL.
why I'm not gonna do it because
You still gotta do the numbers.
Yeah, and it's old enough where not all the numbers work as well. So 8 has to be pushed like 4 times as much as you would regularly push it. So if you're trying to get to V, which is to push it 3 times, all of a sudden it's 12 times. And you gotta do it quick, otherwise it'll go to the next letter. It's a challenge, man. So if I don't ever text back, it's because I hate texting, and it's hard as shit on that phone.
I actually didn't know when I texted you today if I'd get a text reply back
I know.
because I didn't have any like text messages from you, so I was like, I don't know if he does that still or not.
But I think all my answers back to you were just yep, and nope.
Yeah, it was quick
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, I'm not having a conversation.
I get
That's
it.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the battery lasts like what, a week?
Oh, easily. Like
That's awesome.
I think I charged it before coming home, and I've charged it one time since, because it was at half, and it's still full.
Wow.
So I've been back since, yeah, good, a little over a week, about 8 or 9 days now.
That's amazing.
It's just because it doesn't do anything. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't take any electricity to exist.
Who'd y'all see up in Minneapolis? Fam?
Yeah, mainly fam.
Nice.
Josh and
Josh
and
has a
his
kid.
girl. Yeah, and he just turned 1 on Friday.
Okay.
Little Decker Shonkwiler. He's a funny little kid, man. Big old ears. He's like super blonde hair, blue eyes, and he's fun loving, full of snot. But just started to walk. Like
wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
like just like a day or two before I got there, he took his first few steps.
Nice.
And so while I was there, he'd like from me to Jimmy, he could do
Toddling.
But yeah, he's yeah. And if he'd fall, he'd actually get back up and keep going instead of just screw it, I'm gonna crawl.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. They're all little kids. Shit, all my brothers and sisters all have little kids now. Super fun.
I was gonna say because Anna and Clay just have one.
They have one, but she's pregnant. She's having
She is?
yeah, she's doing March with a girl.
All right.
But her kid, Mac. He's fun. He's been trying to learn how to jump lately, and he doesn't quite have it. But he has the motions down. so he throws his body back in his head, but his feet don't get off the ground. It's hilarious to watch.
How old is he?
I think he'll be 2 in a month or so.
Okay,
Yeah. He's. Or sometimes he'll end up kicking his front legs forward and just falling on his butt. He'll look around like, should I cry? No, they're laughing.
And Amy's got 2 now.
Yeah, she's got a newborn.
Yep.
From September, and James is 2 years old, just over 2. So, yeah, he wasn't trying to jump the last time. I was. We went out to. She's in Colorado Springs too. So.
Oh, okay.
But we went out for the newborn over Labor Day weekend.
Nice.
So we got to hang out with James a bunch. He's doing good. He's starting to talk a lot.
Yeah.
I get messages on my phone every couple weeks, from him.
saying something.
Yeah. He called me last weekend and told me that baby Marcus was sleeping. So that was good.
Good update, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. So, no, he has a good time though. He runs around like a maniac though. So.
Yeah, I got to see Amy and the 2 boys when she was home last.
Yeah, she was home last month.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep, she's doing good, I think. So teaching English out there.
And she's bounced around a couple of different schools, right?
Yep, she was
Since she
teaching.
was there?
Well, she's at the alternative school in Colorado Springs now. So she was teaching at another high school in town there, which was really nice. But once she had James, it was like because she was like doing the theater stuff, which was really awesome. Except that like the whole year she was constantly doing extracurriculars. So they do like a spring play, a winter variety show, and a fall musical or whatever,
geez.
Wow.
So she wanted to actually like be present.
Right.
So she went to the alternative school. She's just teaching normal English classes, 9th, 10th grade English, whatever. So she's home in the evenings. Works out good.
Steve Wiseman would be proud.
Yeah.
I don't understand how English was like always the hardest class. This should have been the easiest.
That grammar shit, man. I can read like a champ, but I can't write for beans.
I'm like, this should be easy. I don't
I
understand
speak
why.
this. Wiseman
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
He was a good one.
I think his daughter is teaching English at Esterville now.
I think so too.
Yeah, Stephanie.
Yep. In that in his old classroom.
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Right down on what wing was that? East?
East Wing. Yeah.
East wing.
Yeah.
E-wing.
Did you guys ever go in the tunnels underneath the?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We always had the rumor that it was because Miss Bish would store her cats down there that she would eat. So she always wore those gloves because the cats would scratch her hands. It's one of many terrible rumors I started.
Well, the other Ben thing that he did that same homecoming year was put up a sign that said, if his school spirit was Jewish, Miss Grimm's or
Mr. Grimm.
Miss Grimm's and Mr. Bit.
No, just Mr. Grimm's.
Mr. Grimm's would be Hitler.
Yeah.
On
It
the
was
papa
it was
sheet.
because
He printed those off from the physics room computer lab.
with Mr.
Moss
Moss.
and-
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Moss.
He caught me.
Moss could sit up there at the front computer and he could see what everybody on every computer in that room was
Right.
doing.
Yeah.
So he had the screenshot. He's like, oh, Ben, what
What he did was while I was printing them off, he printed off a screenshot of my computer, and he wrote above. He's like, "Dear Mr. Grims, this is what Ben Shonkwiler deems necessary to do with his time in class." So I'm back at the printer, and that comes out, and I'm just like, "What the fuck is this, boss?"
Well, that
He
was
just
after
gets his little chuckle.
that was after Furman was trying to rally the troops at a basketball game, I think, and Grimm's just like he was like running up and down the court.
Yeah, he
trying
kept
to,
shutting us down.
Yeah,
It was like the one basketball game I went to because I always had to work because we worked with a bunch of basketball players, like planning and that big redhead guy that I don't remember.
Klingbeil.
Yeah, Klingbeil for sure. And so it was like the one game I went to, and every time we started to chant stuff, Grims would just shut us down. Just none of that. And so I got that idea the next day.
They never caught. Did they catch you?
No, not a teacher, but one of the teacher aides or something that I was talking to, they said that they went into his office once and he had one of those posters, and it just had a Post-it on there that said Ben Shonkwiler ? Question mark.
That strings leading Ben's classes.
Yep.
Oh, wait, you have Mrs. Graves too, didn't you? Did you have Mrs. Graves?
I don't know, maybe.
She was our challenge teacher for a while. And I thought somebody, I don't remember. No, I think it was Patochka and Ian and those guys were messing with her, and they took a table outside and went sledding on it or something. Our high school was full of shenanigans.
I remember my senior math class, because we had that new teacher, Miss Fossum. Who was she was 23 and 80 pounds.
I felt bad for her.
No, I do too, man. I'm like, but at the time I didn't. And I remember I would just walk out of class and then come back with McDonald's.
Yeah. Yep.
Or I'd go to the bike rack and find one without a chain, and I'd ride it around in front of the window. And I'd just come back to class, be all sweaty, just sit back down and
She wouldn't say anything.
no, nothing.
No, we brought an Xbox one day for geometry, and we were playing Halo. And then they brought a camcorder in and set it up in a tripod in the back of the class.
I remember that.
Turn that shit right off. What about our day?
I remember during one of the tests, there was a really hard question, and what was also great for all the tests, people would always sit around me and Maggie Peterson. Every other class, people are spread out, but around the test, all of a sudden it's just these two circles. and there was one time where people just weren't understanding this question, so I was sick of people looking at my paper. So I just went up on the whiteboard and I wrote it out. You guys obviously shouldn't teach this, and I just
She lasted almost a year.
yeah. And what's crazy is we weren't the worst classes. It was I do feel bad about how I treated her for sure.
Right.
But but we weren't the worst class, like even close.
No,
Like,
my class was bad.
mhm.
My class was really bad.
Hellraisers.
Well, she couldn't teach math. She
Yeah.
couldn't discipline. It was the problem.
No,
Yeah.
you couldn't hold a
She
room.
had such a timid little voice.
Yeah.
Like a
and-
little mouse.
Yeah. You guys stop. Not with that
She-
voice.
She was not a solid replacement for Mr. Fine, that's for sure.
No. Man, Fine was
Fine did
killer.
like 3 tours in Vietnam, and
Yeah.
no one was
Yeah.
gonna mess with him.
No,
Uh,
no, he didn't have to
phase him.
raise his voice. Like,
no, you just give it. You just like turn around and like, oh shit. Okay, everyone just pay attention.
I don't think I ever had fine though.
Well,
No, I didn't.
you're lesser for it.
Yeah.
I switched to him. I had was it Cherney? Was the math teacher?
Yeah.
I remember I had one class of his, and I don't know. Someone told me that Fine was better, so I remember I switched to his class.
Yeah.
I'm so glad, and then I stuck with him ever. It was like my freshman year. Someone told me to go to Fine, and I'm so glad I did, man. He was.
Yeah,
I guess I did have him for driver's ed, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had Gordon.
And yeah, well, they like,
they tag teamed it.
yeah.
Right.
Yep, that was my driver's ed teachers too.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, yeah. Every time you're passing the cemetery, Gordon, he's like, "Yep, people just dying to get into there." Every time.
Did you guys go to Worthington for
Oh,
your
yeah.
Yeah,
interstate
yeah.
driving to
Yep.
Mac and Don's Supper Club?
Mac
in
and Don's
Worthington?
Supper
Yeah,
Club.
that's right.
Oh man! And then I remember he was trying to make a bet with us that we couldn't guess how long like on a dotted line in the middle of the road, like how long one of the dots are. Because when you're driving, it looks like 2 feet. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
But then you pull up and it's like the length of your car.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I remember that.
blew
was
my
in- actually,
simple
I-
little mind.
I drove with Anna.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did a summer driver's ed class.
It
Yeah.
was me and Colby and maybe Whedon,
Okay.
I think, in my car.
I had Phil Beaver and some girl I don't remember.
Phil Beaver.
Yeah, Phil Beaver.
Yeah.
He's on the
He's a state cop.
state
State
state trooper. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Down in the Iowa City-ish area, last I knew. But,
Yeah, I don't know.
that was a few years
That's what
ago.
I heard too.
Last I heard, did you guys hear he got into an accident?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think he
that's
got
what
hurt
Grandma
pretty
told me.
bad.
Yeah,
Oh,
real bad.
yeah.
Yep.
Has anyone heard how he's doing lately?
I don't think he's back on the road yet.
I've been hoping to run into his family to ask. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I heard it was bad, but he's alive, so
Yep.
so that's good.
Phil was good stuff.
He
I
was.
still remember when he busted his hand in basketball. Like these like 3 gnarly pins sticking out of the side of his hand for months or whatever. Because he got mad and he punched a.
Something. Yeah.
Well, they had those pads under the hoop,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like
Yep.
pads, and
Right.
he just boom and just shattered. So then he'd come work out with the wrestlers for a while. And old Phil. Yep. Fuck you, the desert.
yeah, yeah, that's
Oh, it's like a snow globe, but it's
yeah.
like,
And that's what the desert says, man. Everything's spiny or pointy or poisonous. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
it doesn't want you out there. I think that's why I like it. I get it, man.
You guys ever camp out there?
Oh yeah, totally. I just did a nice backpacking trip for like 3 days that I just got up into a mountain range and got on the ridge line and spent, I think, 2 nights out there
Dang.
camping. It was sweet. It was,
Nice, man.
I dig it.
Yeah.
You do got to pay attention though.
When you do that, you just go solo, or
Yeah,
Yeah,
usually.
yeah.
I have a couple buddies that might go with me. This last time I wanted to go solo though, but it's kind of nice because to be out in the middle of like literally nowhere and by yourself, there's something really exhilarating
Yeah.
and it actually makes me feel closer to people to be away from them. I know, but it's true. I only feel alone if I'm never alone.
Profound.
Yeah.
Benjamin.
start writing a few of these down.
That's right.
go great on a t-shirt.
Yeah, what was your one the other day? It said like mindful as fuck or something.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
There's a picture of the Buddha.
Yeah, that's JP Sears off of YouTube. You got to look him up.
Okay.
He's a good one.
Yeah,
funny.
he's got a
But
whole.
yeah,
I mean, he's probably got 180 or something videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's
Damn.
hilarious.
But he gave me
Project Iron has a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's all into mindfulness.
Is he a comedian or something? Or
Yeah, basically.
I can see that. I can see it being Canadian. He, well, actually, this shirt, I found this in a church thrift store. I got this is my favorite part about this shirt. It's 50 cents at a church.
Oh, that's fantastic. Patagonia sounds wonderful, though.
It is. It's a great little community, and it's just got an eclectic mix of people, but it's a community. Like, it doesn't matter who you are because you're part of the community.
Right.
Like, that's what I really dig about it.
See, this is making a lot more sense now because for a while I would see every now and then a picture that tagged you on Facebook in Patagonia.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus, Ben is in South
America.
America. That's a long ways to hitchhike.
Chile?
Argentina?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's funny is even when I go to Tucson sometimes, and people are like, "Oh, where are you coming from?" I'm like, "Oh, Patagonia." That's a drive. I'm like, 45 minutes, man.
No, that'd be wild. I want to get out there camping sometime.
It's nice.
Bring Chris
Hey,
Noss.
we're surrounded by national forest, so it's free camping.
Right.
Like it's because that's our land.
Yeah.
Unless you want to mine, then come on in and take.
Yeah, I heard they opened up the boundary waters
Oh yeah,
for
yeah.
mining. That's a sweet idea.
Yeah, terrific.
what are they mining there?
I don't know. I was imagine like an iron ore.
Yeah.
That's kind of like up by Duluth anyway. That's what they
Yeah,
get. Is
Iron Ranges
up in
there.
the Iron Range. So I don't know. But
Are
I
you guys
guess
gonna be offended if I go pee? Because
No, man. Have
I've
at
been
it.
drinking these a little too quick.
The bathroom is down the hall.
Yeah, he doesn't need a bathroom.
I'll find the front door.
Yeah, the handle's a little goofy. Gotta hold it down, but you'll figure it out.
I'll get it.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, how are you doing over there, Tony? Looks like you're
Doing just fine.
through that. Are you on your last one of the 6-pack there?
It's not a competition, Jim. We
Okay.
don't need to keep count.
yeah. I gotta take off here in about pretty soon.
What?
Yeah. I
You got
gotta
a date or something?
No, I got a thing. Got a meeting thing. I gotta be on at 8.
Well, you have a lot of meetings at 8 o'clock on Friday nights, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wild.
That sounds unfortunate.
It is. It's not ideal. Typically, I'd rather be here.
Yeah.
But
We got to do another. I'm pretty busy tomorrow, but I think I'd be free tomorrow night.
I'm leaving town.
Oh, yeah,
tomorrow.
that's right.
Yeah, I'm
Where are
going
you
Saturday,
going?
Sunday. Going to the girlfriend's house.
Oh,
Going to her parents' place and eating a bunch of food.
Yeah.
second Thanksgiving. I've got one of those tomorrow, too.
Kind of excited about it. I didn't quite put away enough yesterday, so
Who? So, Dave and Jill's for the
yeah.
Thursday then? Just the
Yeah.
three of you, or did you have.
No, yeah, just me and Dave and Jill. We
Nice.
ate a whole bunch and watched football, and
Mm-hmm.
I rolled back down the hill to my house next door. and,
Has Tay moved out and Mike Jones moved
no,
in yet? Or?
I think the
Okay.
29th. So next week is Tay's big move.
Yeah.
They should make a movie about that. It'd be hilarious. But yeah, it's essentially just two of my high school classmates
Swapping
swapping
houses.
out. Yeah.
Yep.
Who's moving out? Dave?
Tay and Amanda are moving up
Oh, okay.
by Taylor's mom in that little
Yeah.
cul-de-sac.
Yeah, it's funny. So yeah, Alexander Road,
Right.
Leanne. Trevor lives out there, like virtually across the
Across the
street
street.
from Leanne. He's moving out.
Mm-hmm.
Tay's moving in. Even
Same
further,
house.
it's
No.
different houses.
Okay.
But yeah, I spoke Leanne swapping one son for
Yeah.
the other.
Doesn't do snow, I guess. She's This.
Oh yeah.
It does snow.
Yep. Those are crazy.
Yeah, they're cool little
Yeah,
owls, man. I mean,
yeah.
if you want one, help yourself.
No, that's all right.
Tony, I doubt you do, if that's what you're drinking.
Don't judge.
No, it's last time I was drinking the Golden Lights, I just couldn't get drunk. Like,
Yeah.
That's
That's kind of the nice thing about them.
I mean, I think that's why I got water.
Yeah, you were saying they didn't sell it near home.
All of a sudden now in
And now they
Kansas,
do?
it's
Yeah.
liquor store by my house carries it.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
It's my taste of home. Yeah, I used to have to drive to Nebraska to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the old Smoking the Bandit thing, you know.
I'm not a big beer guy.
Yeah.
I like vodka.
I love a tasty beer.
Yeah.
But I've been brewing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've
Nice.
been brewing for a couple of years now, and I make them dark and I make them thick. Like,
Okay. Like a loaf
real-
of bread, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Just like Ben likes his women.
Yeah.
Dark and
thick. Amen. But
Good news is nobody's watching. So
Yeah, I
your
know.
girlfriend won't see this.
Benji, you got a girlfriend now? Little lady buddy?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
I'm not super stoked about it, but
That's all right.
That's a classic Ben answer.
it's just I don't know, man. I'm used to me and just me, and
Yeah.
I enjoy it. And
Right.
to add someone else to the mix is it's a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother agenda to consider.
I know, because all of a sudden you can't be so selfish.
Yep.
Like there's someone else in your life.
Mhm.
It's tough. I don't know if I'm into it.
What do you want to do right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. How you doing on time, Andy? You need to.
I'm good. I'm gonna jet here in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Where are you off to?
I gotta
He's
go
got a
to-
meeting.
got a
He has
meeting
Friday
that I
night
gotta go
meetings.
to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. It's something.
Can you think of some subject matter for Mount Rushmore for us?
Oh, Jesus.
Eric wanted
I
it.
didn't prepare any material. I just want to.
I got a little bit.
God, I don't know.
Yeah, we did superheroes.
Superheroes.
I don't know. I suppose we could fall back on that. We haven't
How
heard.
about
haven't heard Ben's.
vegetables?
Vegetables? Yeah, Mount Rushmore vegetables.
Yeah.
All right.
Totally.
Ben's are gonna be like the blue heirloom tomato. Looks so majestic in the sunshine.
Don't put words into his mouth.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't know.
Yeah, you're
him.
taking. I mean, you're taking my thunder, man.
Go ahead, Ben. Let's hear it. What are your favorite 4 tomatoes? Or
I could do my favorite 4 tomatoes. Well, I'll do veggies because peppers, absolutely for sure. Because they're a great. I mean, there's any variety of peppers, but I love sweet peppers. Like any of the bell peppers. I grew bananas this year, which have been super delicious. But then
Bananas
this
aren't a vegetable.
banana
banana
peppers.
peppers.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you, sir. And then the spicy ones too. I'll count this as 2 veggies, as sweet peppers and spicy peppers. Because we also down where I live, we have the chiltepine, which is it grows wild in the mountain. It's this tiny little red pepper, and genetically, it's the grandfather of almost all peppers. And it's super spicy, but it's also it fades away really quick, you know. So
Nice.
See, that's what's. I'd need that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I can do spicy. I just hate the lingering.
yeah, and that's what I love about these ones is they do have a really strong kick and a good flavor, but after just like 10 minutes, it's gone.
Doesn't
like,
wreck
yeah,
ya.
it's just completely gone, and and the idea that they're the grandfather of all peppers is a cool thing because they grow wild,
Right.
more in the mountains and a little south there. Like they don't like the freezing, which we get a couple freezing nights for sure. And then so that counts for 2. Then one I really love and I've been having a really hard time growing, but I want to, is the loofah, which it's a type of gourd, but once it's dried out, you can take off the skin, and it's just a super fibrous. It's like a shower loofah.
Oh, okay.
It's like a literal loofah, and they're great. Like, cause
Do you just wash yourself with it, or do you?
yeah,
eat it?
I mean, you can eat them when they're young,
Okay.
but they're mainly for washing. You could use them for a dishcloth or a dish rag.
like a
You know,
scrubber,
yeah. I use them for a shower one because they are really abrasive. And since I don't shower as often as everyone else, the rest of society, it is nice that I get something
so I can really degrease.
really gets those layers off. For sure.
Yeah.
No, they're great.
Yeah.
I have been having a hard time growing them. I think I just don't give them enough sun. I think they just want a little more sun. But
You live in the desert.
I put my gardens under mesquite trees, so it actually, which is nice for times of the year because we get really hot. But I've noticed a few things don't grow well because they want more sun.
Interesting.
It's kind of a bummer. And then what's my last favorite veggie? Because they're all so good. Probably winter squash. I'll go with winter squash. The butternuts, acorns, delicatas. Almost any winter
Just
squash.
2 gourds and 2 peppers, and you're just a
Yeah, that's it, man.
one-trick pony.
I could talk about this all day. Yeah. I mean, I'll start going into a lot more detail, but,
What
in general.
So what exactly constitutes a vegetable?
It's like seed structure.
Interior
isn't it?
seeds, right?
Yeah.
Interior seeds?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why strawberries are fruit.
Is it-
But what
okay.
was up?
But
Well,
tomatoes-
What about like an apple,
Tomatoes are
though?
messed up. 'Cause they-
Tomatoes are a fruit.
Apples have seeds on the inside, though.
well, then that's not what constitutes a vegetable.
It's
Whoa.
I actually don't.
veggie master?
I mean, I know the difference, but I don't know why there's a difference. You know, it's something weird. Are you looking it up? Because
Yeah.
you should.
Botanically speaking, a fruit is a seed-bearing structure that develops from the ovary of a flowering plant, whereas vegetables are all other parts of the plants, like roots, leaves, stems.
Oh.
So it's got to come from an ovary to be a fruit.
All right.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The more you know.
This goes back to a lesson we were all taught in biology that we've all forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn it, Fandel.
The one thing I
Yeah.
remember from Vandel is that repetition.
Petition is the mother of learning.
Yeah, clearly.
Yep.
Well, he taught us how to make a hormone, too. You just don't pay her. I just kind of looked at Chuck.
Did he really say?
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Get your fatty acids in gear.
There's another one.
It's classic.
Oh man. Teachers. That whole like wing was just wild.
Yeah.
'Cause then it
There's
capped,
Wiseman in there.
oh, and then it capped off with Miss P
I don't know Wiseman.
when Chuck got the new, because Chuck got the new
Yeah.
one like our freshman year. That was
Yep.
kind of by the gym outlet there.
Yep.
If you came up the stairs from the wood shop,
Mm-hmm.
you're like right there. Then it went to Central and it was Handlin, Moss, and
Yep.
then Miss
Moss
P.
was great. Miss P was
Miss P was dumb.
ridiculous.
Yeah, dude. She sent Matt Taylor to the principal's office for writing his address.
I got sent to Grimm's office from her.
Yeah.
I got
Even
sent
Tony,
to
wow.
Graham's office from her once, and it was when she was in Central. So his office was just like 2 doors down on the
Right.
left.
Yep.
But as I was going out the door, someone yelled at me, "Don't go, she never checks." So I walked out the door, and she pushed me out, and I immediately went to the left and just walked to my next class. Like, well, screw it, I guess I'll get to class early. And he was right. She doesn't check.
She made us write our addresses down with our parents' names, and Matt Taylor wrote 467 Lil John Road. She goes, "What is this, a joke to you?" No, this P, it's my address. We're freshmen. Like, tiny little Matt Taylor. No, this is my. Well, where is that? Sherwood Forest.
Sure.
She's from the lake. She's
Yeah.
like, "Get out to Prince's office with you." So I think Jolene Lutz borrowed him a phone book, and he brought the phone book back.
Prove it.
No, man.
This is for real.
This is a thing in Esterville.
That's funny.
Speaking of Sherwood Forest, you guys know about the haunted hill that's up there?
Yeah.
It's not anymore though.
What?
They
When
they
repaved
paved
the-
it.
no,
No, it's still. I've done it since they've paved it, and
Really?
it still works.
Oh, I heard that it didn't work anymore.
Oh no,
Because we used to. I mean, when it was gravel, it worked.
yeah, for sure.
the spirit's pulling you
Pulling you
back.
towards the
Yeah,
cemetery.
the witches pulling you into the cemetery.
Yeah,
yeah.
we
Pulling
definitely
you up
did
that
that
hill.
in my truck. Yeah.
I know I've done it since it's been paved and it's worked.
I'll
It's
try-
not quite as quick.
I'll try tomorrow
All right.
because I drive up there all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean you're there.
Because yeah.
All right.
That's my
I got
one
a
of my
jet.
All right.
When you guys get Ben around home,
Sure.
Yeah, I can give him a ride home.
I'll
Have
walk
fun at
if
your
I have
meeting.
to.
Ben will walk. Hi guys, I will see you
Yep.
later.
Peace
See you,
out.
Andy.
All
Thanks
right,
for being on.
Take care. Cheers, man.
So you leaving Sunday? Maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Probably. All right.
Whenever the parents are going back up.
Aw.
Aw, it's a tender moment here on the podcast,
Right,
everybody.
yeah.
You too, brother. Take
You
care.
never know what you're gonna see.
That's right.
Man hugs.
That's why you got to tune in every week.
Bearded man
Yeah.
hugs.
Is it every week?
We're trying. Yeah, trying to get it going here.
Nice.
A little more steady. I think that's the key to actually getting an audience. Is
Yeah.
regular content. It's a struggle though, getting everybody's schedules lined up. It's
And I tried to help Beardsley out. I told him I gave him feedback on the suggestions. You know,
Yeah.
he just pushed out. You know,
Yeah.
it's probably why he lost his election. He'll never be president.
yeah.
You
And,
gotta
and
start
he was,
somewhere.
I mean, tonight his excuse is he's going to a steakhouse.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh, tonight? Yeah, he said he had plans with the family.
Yeah.
right? So-
yeah, to go eat steak.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come on,
yeah.
Cole.
What would you choose?
Well, I've been trying for quite a while to get Cole on the podcast, and we had it all scheduled. It was going to be like eve of the election.
Right.
We're going to go over all the stuff, election stuff, and like I had a thing whipped up with little prompts for questions and that kind of thing. We were like going over it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Andy and Cole and I were getting lunch together, and we're going, and he was just like kind
Yeah. I was
of
hanging
dragging
out,
his heels a little bit, and
I was hanging out with him earlier today.
Yeah.
And he was saying that I'm like, I would have said something stupid right before the election. He lost it anyways. So
Yeah.
screw it, man.
he did better though than I thought.
He outperformed.
He did do good. I talked
Yeah.
to him. Right?
Yeah.
'Cause he had, I don't know, maybe like 1,000.
He got like
1,300
1,300 votes.
yeah.
1,300.
Yeah.
What
So,
he told me
he
he
did-
would do different next time is that if people are going to vote for him, to have them only vote for him, because you could vote for two people that
Yeah.
time. And so some people would vote for him, and then another, one of the other guys, and then
Yep.
And the way it was working was that in the end, the other guys got a lot more. But
Yeah.
But if they would have just voted for him,
Right.
and then it wouldn't have given them the other guys that extra vote, I think it would have been a lot closer.
Well, and
I agree with him on it.
I think Bev Jewell just
She resigned.
Stepped down- yeah,
It's
just
excitement
resigned
in
here.
Local politics.
So,
you know, so.
this might be Cole might have another
I
chance
told
here.
Cole that I said, man, go claim your rightful seat. You
Yeah.
the third place winner in the recent election. You should be appointed immediately.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
he's obviously interested in serving.
Yeah, maybe that's why he doesn't want to submarine his chances by coming on the podcast. Once he's in,
Hey, he's got our endorsement. What else does he need?
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, what else is there?
If I could have voted for him, I would have. You know.
Yeah.
Never should have left the jurisdiction,
I know
Tony.
I should have kept my local address.
Yep.
I never should have got a Kansas driver's license. What was I thinking?
Well, you've been in Kansas for like a decade now,
8 or
haven't
9
you?
years
Yeah.
now. Yeah,
I
it's
was gonna
crazy.
say. It's right after you got married, you moved down there.
Right
correct?
before I got married.
Right before, even.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Man, I had to get an Arizona license though, because they're good till you're 65.
Yeah, for all the old people.
Yeah.
They're
Mine-
good forever.
Yeah. Mine expires in 2048. It cost me $24. It's awesome. It's like, nope, that's Arizona's my residence.
I wonder if we'll ever get flying cars, maybe by 2048.
We should.
Yeah.
Then I'll get a new license.
Keep dreaming. I hope not.
You know what? Yeah. We'll cut in your business, maybe, huh?
No, it'll just make my job terrifying.
Way too much idiots in the sky.
Yeah, idiots on the road is bad enough.
I know. Yeah, I can only imagine in the sky. I understand why we don't have flying cars. We don't deserve them.
Yeah, probably not. That's probably fair. Tony, what do you think about like the Elon Musk, space launching rockets into space and that kind
Yeah,
of stuff?
it's amazing. Did you know there is a car flying through outer
Yeah.
space beyond the orbit of Mars right now?
Yep.
And David Bowie is playing on the radio. I mean, what wonderful, amazing times we live in. Who would have thought?
That's
right?
pretty wild.
Yeah, no, NASA's backed off. Private industry is stepping up. It's for resupplying the International Space Station and for future space exploration. It's definitely a private industry. It's got to be involved. So
It's the new frontier, right?
yeah,
The final frontier.
and
I've heard.
it's that's. But I mean, did you watch that launch?
I
first
saw
Falcon
some
Heavy launch?
like highlights of it.
Yeah, it was streamed live on YouTube, and I mean, the car thing was pretty amazing. I thought just because it's so relatable. I mean, there's a guy driving a car in space.
Yeah.
Almost, I mean, everybody in the United States can relate to driving a car.
Right.
He's got his hand. I mean, it's a convertible. His arms on the windshield, and he's cruising.
Mm-hmm.
And and then they land the rockets simultaneously on pads side by side.
So they can
that's an insane control problem. I can attest to that. I mean, that's to be able to pull that off is unbelievable engineering. So, then, they're going crazy. They're having a great time. So, I hope it works out for them.
Yeah. Is it true that there's a whole bunch of like junk and stuff floating in orbit around the
sure.
Earth from all the satellites, and
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
trash.
rocket launches and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Wow. And is it like getting to the point where it's dangerous at all for the space station or anything?
Apparently not yet.
Yeah.
They haven't sprung any very big leaks.
Okay.
It's always hard to imagine because
The space station runs in a higher orbit though than like normal satellites.
Okay.
then it's more on a 3D plane than
Yeah.
because even like if you were to say how many satellites were in space, but to put them on Earth, they would still be spaced apart,
Yeah.
tremendous amount
Yeah.
of miles, and then they're in space where that's
Right.
even more. But it does seem like we're just throwing stuff up anymore. Like,
That's what we do,
Yeah.
Ooh, a new garbage pile.
Yeah. Maybe we should
Pretty
start
much.
launching all the trash that we're throwing in the ocean
into
into
space.
Yeah.
At least it'd block the sun and slow down the greenhouse effect. Or speed it up. I don't know.
Yeah. Would it reflect and intensify?
Patch the hole in the ozone layer.
With plastic.
Yeah, I have a hard time like kind of visualizing space distances. It's just so far away from what I can
So
kind of
huge.
comprehend. Yeah, I start talking astronomical units and
Yeah,
light years and that
'cause
kind
what,
of thing.
an astronomical unit's 93 million miles.
Yeah, it's the distance from the Earth to the sun.
Yeah. And so even to the moon, it's 400,000 miles, and like
Only takes a week to get there.
like
Speaking, I mean, this next month is 50th anniversary of Apollo 8,
oh really?
which was our first mission to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Read there's an amazing book released this year, Rocket Men, which is about that mission and about those astronauts. And I mean, really, that was probably more gutsy of a mission than Apollo 11, than the actual landing on the moon.
Yeah. Well, any of the Apollo missions up until 11.
Yeah, I mean, they went. Well, Apollo 8 was the first one. They actually orbited the moon, and so
That's nuts.
they didn't have a lunar lander ready, so they just we're just gonna go there and see what it's like. Hopefully we can. And it was over Christmas. It's Christmas in 1968. They were in orbit around the moon. So
Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
we're coming up on that.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
Is it well accepted now that the moon is like the byproduct of a big
Yeah.
asteroid crash into
That hit the Earth.
the Earth
Yeah.
and it threw everything up?
That's why it goes about an inch further away from the Earth every year.
Yeah, read that.
Yeah.
Which that to me is crazy to think of. Have you guys were you around for that lunar eclipse? Or I mean solar eclipse?
Yeah.
This last year.
Oh, I drove.
Yep.
I chased that thing, and we
Nice.
This was before I had a job, so I started
Yeah, me
driving
too.
into North. Yeah, right. So yeah, eclipse day. I'm like, okay, Northwest Missouri is the closest place for total eclipse, and my best friend Matt Michael from Ames, Iowa, who taught me to fly gliders. So he's coming down from Ames. I'm heading up from Wichita. We're like texting, calling, looking at radar. It's cloudy.
Yeah.
And we managed to join up on some random road east of Kansas City. The traffic was crazy.
I bet.
And then we're like chasing little holes in the cloud layer, and we get off on the side of a gravel road about 2 minutes before a full eclipse starts, and it was the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah.
The problem,
I was in Missouri.
Yeah.
I was more central, but we had to chase it.
yeah,
We went to a friend of a friend's party, and the clouds started rolling, and it was like, hey man, we came from blue skies.
Yep.
Let's head back. And me and Chris Noss and then a few other friends from Iowa City.
yeah,
Nice.
that was magical.
This is the most mind blowing thing I've ever seen in my life.
After being, it made me realize like no wonder like native peoples thought that the world was ending when this happened.
Sure, yeah.
It is so creepy.
Yeah, I tried to put myself in that mindset too of like not knowing that it was happening.
Right.
And even knowing that it was happening and pretending that I didn't know it was happening, it's still like when it happens, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like the sun just disappears.
Yep.
And then this beautiful, brilliant light comes out that's hidden from us at all times, but is always there.
Right.
Like, oh man, the symbology of it that happened in my mind was
The only problem now is that like a partial eclipse will never be.
yeah,
Like,
no, exactly.
99% is not good enough.
No, but if it's not 100%, I don't give a fuck.
That's right.
It's just crap.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, I had a watered down eclipse experience because I was in Des Moines,
Oh yeah.
so it wasn't the full on thing, but it was still weird,
But to me though, what really blows my mind is that our moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, but 400 times closer to Earth. Or some I don't know if those numbers are right, but but essentially that it's the same size as the sun to our perspective.
Yeah.
That it can cover it up perfectly.
Yeah.
Right.
And it does move away an inch a year. And so
Yeah. In 10 million years, that won't work anymore.
Yeah. Or 10 million years ago, it didn't work as well as it did. Like we're in a time where it matches up ridiculously perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. So run me through the full eclipse experience. So you said the different light that you can't see normally, huh?
You can actually see the shadow coming, I think,
Yeah.
of the full eclipse. Yeah.
Okay.
And then it cools off. It gets dark. Like
Animals get weird.
Right. Yeah. The birds and the insects
Yep.
like stop making noise
Because they
or
think
whatever
it's-
they normally would
Yep.
do at sunset. And it's just spooky.
Yeah. And the metaphor I took it as is like because you can't look at it without your glasses, without the special glasses, until it actually eclipses. And the whole time, like it just, the sun keeps getting more and more covered up to a point where it looks like the sun's just gonna completely disappear. And to me, what that is that like this darkness is coming on that is overtaking light. And as soon as you think that this is it, this is darkness overtaking light, then this beautiful, brilliant light from
the corona is
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can see the
you see it flowing. Like to me, it was flowing, and I saw what I felt were colors, like purples and blues emanating from the center of this, and like and it,
and you can see this with the naked eye.
yeah, this is just happening, and I still don't feel like I have proper words to describe what I saw.
Okay.
Because and it was months before I could even really talk about it, because when people would ask me about it, I would just be like, because there's no word, there's no words to describe what it is, and it's an event that happens on our earth, like without us. Like that it just blows my mind completely, and even knowing that it was coming still blew my mind. And to be in a position of 1,000 years ago, a couple thousand years ago, to like not really know it's coming, and then that just happened. I would have lost it. Like I would have gone crazy, because but then it all comes back. But then, in the middle of darkness almost taking over, and then a beautiful light, and then the light of the world comes back. And it's this beautiful metaphor that makes me understand why Trump is necessary. He's a darkness that he'll never fully take over. And it's not just him. It's the darkness of the world that I really see happening. I really see darkness taking over the light of the world. And I'm not worried about it, because I know in that moment where it looks like darkness is going to take over, I know this beautiful, brilliant light's going to shine forth. And it will change the world and bring light back into the world.
And it made me think about, like, we were taught about how early Spanish explorers in Mexico, or in South America, correctly predicted an eclipse, and then were treated as gods. And it's like, well, no wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could know that was coming, you must be a god, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the experience in Des Moines wasn't as cool, I don't think, I'm sure, as the full thing, but it got really dark, and I could see, I walked out of law school, and Neil Hamilton, who's a heavy hitter in ag law, seriously, he is, hands me these glasses, like, check this out. I'm looking up and all that, and could see some of that.
I've seen some great partial eclipses before. I saw one as it was a setting sun in Arizona, and so it was a setting crescent sun, and that blew my mind, because it's a setting crescent sun, but the totality is a whole other world. I gotta pee again.
No worries.
I'm into this conversation. I don't want to leave. I have to.
Yeah, I need to make a point to try to hit a full one next
one's
time around.
Texas.
In Texas.
A couple years.
Okay. That'd probably be doable.
Yeah.
I've never been to Texas before.
Well,
here's my chance. Yeah. I want to go to the.
It's a whole other country down there, man.
I want to go to Dallas and go check out the grassy knoll.
Right.
Dealey Plaza.
This Zapruder film.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably only happens once a day or something.
Yeah, I'm sure. Have they changed that around very much, though, or?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
You can still go up in the Texas School Book Depository.
Yep.
That's my understanding.
Jim Sr.'s thing on the Kennedy assassination always was Bill Leonard was like, he checked out the shot or something, and he said, that'd be no problem. Like, However, people said, "Oh, well, it's too far away. And
Yeah,
it
all
couldn't have been Lee Harvey Oswald and that." But Dad didn't need the Warren
That's all
Commission.
he needed to know.
Oh,
Yeah.
just Bill Leonard's. Oh, no problem.
That's funny.
You've been to Dallas before, haven't you? Or
A little bit, just driving
Okay.
through mostly. I've
Uh-huh.
done a little bit of flying on the south side of Dallas. But
Okay.
I've never stopped at the grassy knoll.
Yeah. I'll have to ask Ben if he's been. Have you been to the Grassy Knoll before, Ben?
Like in
In Dallas, yeah.
No, no.
We were
No,
just
I have
talking
not.
about that, yeah.
I have not been to the grassy knoll. That's a conspiracy. I'm all right not knowing the full truth of. Like, I'm happy with the idea that, like, I mean to me any conspiracy is I don't trust anything we're told.
Yeah.
Because it's I feel like historically been proven to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to pretend like I know the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that
I enjoy conspiracy theories. I almost follow them like a sports team.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah, it's rapidly evolving and
yeah.
it's always good stuff.
Actually, Josie was just telling me a new one today that I had not heard of about Avril Lavigne. Have you heard this one?
No.
That apparently Avril Lavigne at some point she's dead. She's actually dead, but they have a body double who's filled in for her.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
But Avril Lavigne doesn't still do stuff.
She could just be dead anyways and nobody would know.
I need to look it up. I haven't had time, but you know.
one of my I think one of my favorites that I really get into is the hollow earth theory.
Oh,
Okay.
Is that our planet is more of a donut than it is a sphere.
Uh-huh.
And well, I guess how it happened is you know, as we're forming as a planet, the heavier materials get thrown out and the lighter materials kind of stay towards the center. So there's an interior sun, but then the mantle that we live on is only 800 miles thick.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side is more earth.
Civilization.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
so they have an internal sun because those lighter gases formed in the center and eventually ignited.
This is really interesting you bring this up because I've just been reading this book like literally this afternoon about
Was
this-
it Richard Byrd?
No, it was this,
Admiral Byrd?
No,
Because he-
it was before Bird.
Okay.
Because Bird actually made it to the North Pole. He's the first one to the North Pole, right?
It
So this
and
story,
the South
this
Pole, but
Right.
also that he went past. Like
well,
the,
right.
the official story is he made it to the North Pole, but the unofficial story is he went past it and
Curved around.
curved around and saw things
So
that he
this
shouldn't
book
have
I've been
seen.
reading about is about the USS Jeanette, which was funded by Gordon Bennett, who was the owner of the New York Herald newspaper, and he led a failed expedition to the North Pole, trying to sail through the Bering Straits.
Mm.
And right before I came over here, I just got to the part where they actually made landfall and contacted natives in Siberia after like 3 years on the ice. But what you're saying, this was in like the 1870s. So there was this whole theory that there was actually an open sea at the North Pole, and the hollow earth theory was part of that. and
Yeah.
that all we had to do was build a ship strong enough to ram through the pack ice, and then we could get to this tropical sea at the pole.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, from what I've heard from Bird is that he had some specific or a special magnet he was following and a gyroscope, because like once he hits the magnetic North Pole.
Yeah, it's all
You know,
messed up. Yeah,
yeah.
navigating it, but at that.
Yeah, but he I think especially with the South Pole is I think he flew 2,000 miles past the magnetic South Pole, and he on a radio broadcast which is no longer exist, of course, is he describes seeing like land and seeing animals. I think he describes a woolly mammoth even, because and then he turned around and came back because of gas. And same when he hit the North Pole, is I think he went 1,400 miles past. And it's really interesting. And I actually met his nephew when I was living in Bisbee, Arizona. And his nephew won't talk about it. But all he talks about is how the government did silence his uncle.
Interesting.
Like he doesn't say what they silenced him about, but that he was silenced. And it's really interesting, and I like the idea of it too, because really there's nothing that proves that it doesn't exist other than just what we're taught in school.
Just have to mount our own expedition.
Yeah, and I mean, and when I think about the things we're taught in school, we're taught that Columbus discovered America, which I think is complete bullshit, because he didn't land in America and he didn't discover it because people lived here and other people had already come to visit. So when I compare what I was taught and now what I'm still being told, I question everything. I absolutely don't believe anything I'm told.
I wonder what the motive would be to keep that reality from
Right.
being the reality that's taught, though.
That's well, I've heard there's some tribes in like Chile that guard entrances to tunnels that lead to the center Earth, and they won't let you in if you show any sign of ego, and they also don't let you return no matter what. So I think the idea is to keep center Earth unknown, because that's where all the things from our mythical past and all of our folklore come from. It is like the leprechauns and the fairies and the giants,
Dragons. And,
yeah,
okay.
They all live in Middle Earth now, and it's not so much that we keep that idea out, it's that they keep that idea out to protect themselves, because I feel like us as a society are historically known for destroying things that are different.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it's a thing where it's not even necessarily like a cadre of people that are trying to keep it out, or that really know what's really going on, quote unquote, but we're going to keep this a secret.
Yeah.
It could be like mass delusion or ignorance or something.
Yeah. It could be.
Hard to say. Yeah.
I know. I just, that's why I like the idea of it.
Yep.
Is because, like, I don't fully believe it, but I don't fully disbelieve it.
Sure.
You know, like, it definitely seems possible, and it doesn't seem impossible. So I like the idea of it. And I've heard things that that's where a lot of UFOs come from.
Okay.
Is that because it's a more advanced technology, because they don't deal with seasons like we do. Since they have a sun in the center, which is smaller, they're in a perpetual spring, which is a perpetual growth. And so they don't have to spend so much time worrying about, like, saving enough food for the winter, like we do as a species. And so that their technological advances are a lot more advanced than ours, because life there is more abundant.
That's interesting.
It is.
I was going to ask you, any UFO stuff out in Arizona when you're out in the wood or out in the desert camping?
Nothing that I've experienced, but I definitely know people that will tell me some stories of things they've experienced. I do want to experience those things. I do get a lot of meteorites, though.
Yeah, I bet that'd be awesome.
Yeah, which I just love. Actually, when I was backpacking the other weekend, there was one that, what it looked like from my perspective, which I'm sure wasn't true, was that it was dropping down, and right before it went behind this mountain ridge that I was looking at, it started to break up and burn green, and it looked really cool. But what it looked like from my perspective is that it landed on the other side of that mountain ridge, which was like a little highway in between mountain ranges, and I never heard anything about it. And of course, it could have landed way down in Mexico, but like from where I was and what I saw was it landed within 20 miles of where I was, and I just looked awesome.
Yeah, we're talking UFOs now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we switched.
Great. Glad to be back.
Yeah, you want one? You ready for a porter?
You ever seen UFOs, Tony?
No.
Not once, huh? Never
Seen a
while
lot of
you
shooting stars though.
up in the plane, flying along. You, Marvin the Martian pulls up next to you.
No.
Just flips you off.
He's a dickhead. That's why we don't need flying cars.
Yeah.
No, but I have seen some good meteor showers and stuff. It's
Yeah.
amazing to see from the sky.
So that's pretty much what I was saying too. That was
Yeah. I haven't caught one of those before either.
One of my
I don't know.
greatest
good
missed-
ones,
meteor shower.
I'm missing out. Yeah.
one of my best ones was I was flying between Rogers, Arkansas and St. Louis at night over a cloud deck, and it was like an hour and a half flight, complete treat. I felt like I had the front row seat to a meteor shower that no one else could see.
Yeah.
It was completely overcast for people on the ground,
Yeah.
and that was pretty awesome. But I think last Tuesday or Wednesday I was flying back to Wichita at night and saw a shooting star. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I've seen some good ones in Arizona. The ones that break up are my favorite.
Yeah.
I've seen some that have just broken in two, where it's just a solid line and then just splits into two. And I saw one within the last month that I thought was someone shooting a firework off, because it was shooting across the sky and it was just like sparkling so much. But then it just kept going to a point where it's like, that's not a firework. That's like I eventually saw what it was, and just a meteorite just breaking up in the
Yeah.
atmosphere, and like so cool.
Well, then a couple years ago there was one in Russia that hit the ground,
Yeah.
and apparently like insurance fraud is a national pastime in Russia, so everybody has dash cams.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there was videos all over the internet of that,
Right.
of the impact and explosion. Which
Yeah, I
was
saw a
awesome.
few of those videos. That was pretty cool. How big does a thing have to be when it enters the atmosphere?
It'd be huge.
Yeah, to get
To
all
be
the
able to
way
make it
down.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
if-
ridiculous.
You know, something like a meteorite this big that hits the ground starts out the size of a house. I think
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Wow.
I remember when I was living in Iowa City, there was a big one that came over like Cedar Rapids, and I didn't see it, but Chris Noss did. He was outside when it happened, and there was a couple police cars that got footage of it. That it was just, it came across and then it just like exploded, huge green color.
Wow.
And then I don't think it ever landed, but it was cool because the cops had footage, and it was in a place I was living. Like, I still thought it was cool even though I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Like,
It is cool. Well, I mean, that's like one
Have
of
you
the.
been to Meteor Crater? Yeah, we went.
I've been to Meteor Crater.
Yeah, I went there on my honeymoon.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I threw rocks into it.
Jerk. Did you know there's a airplane crashed inside the crater?
No.
Yeah, there's the remains of a Cessna 150 inside the Meteor Crater.
Really?
Yeah.
Nobody went and fished it out, huh?
Now they left part the people, because that's actually privately owned.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
Huh.
and so they're not big fans of people flying inside the crater, even though people do it all the time. So.
It'd be awesome. I mean, it's,
But what happened was, like, there's kind of like a general downdraft around the edge of the crater, and it's super hot and high altitude.
Yep.
Cessna 150 is pretty low performance airplane. So this guy got down inside the rim and then he couldn't get out. So he just like circled around inside of it for a while, which is a testament to how big the crater is.
yeah.
And- but
2 miles in diameter.
yeah,
Wow.
it's nuts. But he ended up crashing in the side of it. So they just like left the tail of the airplane sticking out of the ground there as a warning to future pilots.
Yeah, stay out.
Yeah, we on our honeymoon we went to just west of there,
The city that starts with an F.
Flagstaff.
Flagstaff, which is like the Lowell Observatory is there on top of the hill, and all the city lights in Flagstaff are shielded, so no light shines up, so you can see the entire night sky just standing in the middle of town.
Yeah.
But the Lowell Observatory is where Clyde Tombaugh discovered Pluto in the early 30s. So that was pretty cool trip. We got to observe the sky from the observatory that Clyde Tombaugh used to discover Pluto.
That's cool.
And he was a farmer from western Kansas.
Well, yeah, we can see the Milky Way from in town where I live, because the major city we have close to us is Tucson to the north, and then Nogales on the Mexican side. But otherwise, like in town, you can see the Milky Way. Like it blows my mind. I love it. Like I haven't even seen the moon here in the last like 10 days. Like
Just because you haven't been outside at night. It's a full moon right now, man.
Yeah.
I know. Full moon yesterday, but but it's just been cloudy. It's been so cloudy here. Whereas there, it's rarely cloudy. And when the moon's not out, like the amount of stars you can see and the amount of meteorites, to me, there's not meteorite showers. It's just if the moon's not out, if you stand outside for more than 20 minutes, you'll see at least one meteorite, if not a handful. Like you'll see a handful if it is a meteorite shower, because I know the Leonid shower
Just
peaked
ended
last weekend. Yeah. And but it's like, to me it doesn't matter. It's just like they're always happening. If it's dark out, you're gonna see one if you're looking at the sky, and I love it.
Early entertainment for us humans.
Yeah.
Night sky. It's amazing.
Yeah, you talk about getting wigged out by stuff like an eclipse or something. I mean,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of stuff that would.
Lunar eclipses.
Lunar eclipse, yep.
Solar eclipses.
Meteorite, yeah.
There's a solar eclipse in July that hits like South America, I think Chile and probably Argentina. I'm kind of considering going. like I'm addicted, man.
Yeah.
And seeing that one was just like, I can't see enough of them. Like it's so unbelievable. I've heard the one that hits Egypt in maybe 2020. I don't know. There's one that hits Egypt, but the time of totality is like 8 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Where this last one was like 2.5 minutes, and it just went so quick. It was just like, it
8
happened.
minutes would be really freaky.
Yeah,
Does it go over the pyramids? I hope so.
I hope so. I'm not sure. I don't know.
To wrap this around to UFOs and
Yeah, right.
I know that's when the pyramids just turn into some transformer.
Right.
All will be revealed. Yeah, I was a 2012 conspiracy.
Yeah, I was into it.
Yep.
I never thought it was going to be the end of the world, but I did think it was going to be the start of the end of the world.
Yep.
That was the Mayan calendar one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And really, all it was just the restart of their calendar.
Yep.
Like,
They ran out of space.
yeah.
They ran out
Well,
of
I
paper.
mean, their space went to like hundreds of thousands of years. Like their cycles. It's really interesting to see the cycles that they would use. And 2012 was just the end of like, I think it was like 13 exponentially larger cycles. And so they just didn't have one bigger. So that was the start of that one. But through their predictions, it's the start of the end of the world. And to me, I don't see that as not true. like the world does seem to be getting shittier.
This brings me back to the classic George Carlin bit where the Earth is going to be fine.
Oh yeah.
Just the fleas on,
Humans.
on the earth. Yeah.
Humans are fucked.
Yeah.
The Earth has dealt with way worse things than human beings.
I know.
Yeah, I remember I saw something on TV about the 2012 thing in the late 90s, and it was so far off that I was just like, oh, how can I even?
Yeah. Well, and then we had the end of the world at 2000 was
Right.
the end of the world.
The computer end of the
Yep.
And then
world.
2001 because the year doesn't start at 0. so it wasn't whatever reason.
Well, at least we got Office Space out of that whole thing.
I remember December 20th or 21st of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Because where I was living at that time, I was in Bisbee, Arizona, and the power went out at like 10 o'clock at night. Just on the night of the end of the world, all the electricity in town just goes out, and like,
Well, here it comes.
yeah, it's like, oh shit, like this might be real. Like all of a sudden,
Hit the East Coast, the grid's down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had a couple of friends that came over, like, you want to come fuck some shit up with us? Like, they were just gonna go start spray painting town, and I'm like, I don't know if I am fully into that, but I appreciate you asking.
Oh, funny. Well, yeah, that kind of turned into a cottage industry or on the run up to that. I remember there's stuff on TV all the time.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Movie coming out. And,
I know we haven't had an end of the world for a while.
Yeah.
Like that was our last good one.
yep. It's a bummer.
I know we need them every once in a while.
There was
Yep.
the Comet one in like 1998, right? The Hale Bopp Comet.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Was that the one when those cult
They all-
people all
Yeah.
kill themselves? Yeah.
in California. Yeah.
The Heaven's Gate or something?
Yeah.
Is that
yeah.
right? Yeah.
The Nike shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that, but
Well, yeah, they showed pictures of the bodies on the news. Of the people
Yeah, and all their
like,
feet were sticking
all
out.
Yeah.
wearing like sweatpants, and they had like
these black and white Nike
Nikes.
shoes. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there is that one church that I can't think of right now, but they come up with the end of the world every couple of years.
Yeah.
Where I remember when I was living in Iowa City, they had a van that was going around that was like, end of the world, March 21st.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And then they have to reinterpret the
Yeah.
book of Revelation.
Well, I did the calculations wrong. Well, I'll let you know when the next end of the
Yeah.
world is.
I agree, though. We need another mainstream end
Yeah,
of the world.
2012 was a good
Yeah.
one. That was the good end of the world. We need another one, though. I feel like 2020 could be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rolls off your tongue now.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Like
exactly.
Another Trump administration.
What's that?
There we go.
Yeah. This is it. This is where he just starts nuking everyone. We're not paying $4 for avocados. Nuke them.
Funny.
It'd be less funny if it wasn't so true.
Definitely. Oh, man. What do you think, boys? Should we?
We've covered a lot of
Covered a
ground
lot
this
of
evening.
stuff.
Yeah, we've gone a lot of places.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, both, for being on.
Yeah,
Today, I
happy
sure
to be
appreciate
invited.
it.
I
Yeah,
thought it was
yeah.
such an
It's
honor.
been fun. Yeah.
Good, yeah.
This is-
Hopefully, we can maybe make a tradition out of it when
Right,
everybody's home.
The Thanksgiving podcast,
Yeah.
or whatever it's called, the video cast.
Yeah. Well, I think a podcast can be whatever anymore. I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Times are changing.
Yeah. Used to just be on your.
On my iPod.
iPod, yeah.
Right. Hence the name.
Mhm.
I had to download them every morning. Get the latest news updates.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All righty.
Peace out.
Cheers.
2 hours.
Oh shit.
That's all.